us.
Fuck it, we'll do it live. Hello, thank you for joining us for the official episode 1 of the Castoffs. We're using the Quest RPG system. We're playing on the Happy Jacks RPG network. To catch up on past episodes, visit happyjacks.org/thecastoffs. And to find all of the shows on Happy Jacks network, you can go to happyjacks.org/shows. I'm Jason. I'm the GM of this game, or keeper, or what? It actually had like something cute to call the guide, your quest guide. Which I'm always looking for games that come up with something other than Game Master or Dungeon Master, which just feels, I don't know, feels.
Shouldn't your title then in the credits be Navigator?
Yeah.
Ship's Navigator?
Yeah, that would be good.
All right.
But I think you're
It's
the
ruined
Navigator.
forever.
But Salamander's officially the Navigator.
You're the compass.
True.
Yeah.
The character, but
The
Yeah.
North Star.
Yeah, you're a guiding star.
I liked Bosun. I picked that because it was they're basically the HR of the shit. Like they just manage the people and make sure they have the things they're supposed to have. I feel like that's my job. All right, let's start here so that Nick has to go last because he's in punishment now.
He's in timeout. Am I introducing myself?
Yes.
Hi, I'm Joe. I know what I'm doing. I'm
know
Joe.
where I
I am Wall. Wall is a grizzled fighter, ex-soldier, grandpa. He's the grizzled uncle that's really fun to have around and tells you stories, but he has way too many tattoos, and he probably has a biker jacket. He's that guy.
We know that type.
Yeah.
All right, I'm Courtney. I'm playing third of Fandris. Third of what, you might ask? Well, we'll find out in game. He is a very charming, slightly awkward bard who does dramatic readings and poetry and such. And I am new to the crew.
Tuning in to episode 0 just for Lysander's Isle.
So
Yeah.
I'm not gonna say any more about it, but that was legit developed on the spot.
That was
And,
amazing.
it's about 2.5 hours in. Just
Yeah.
in case
Yeah. We should make a clip of that.
We should clip that
Oh,
out. That
yeah.
was so
It's a
good.
bit long, but
I would
we can do
clip that.
Okay.
yeah.
Wow.
I clip it.
Flattered.
Pooja?
Hi, I'm Pooja,
and I'm the one in timeout.
Yeah.
Yes, you are. Hi, I'm Pooja, and I'm playing Lucky Joshi, a Catwoman, literally, spy, more of the violent and punchy variety than the clandestine anything. Very awkward around people that she doesn't know, and can also commune with the dead,
Sure.
like you do.
Like most
Like most cats.
Catwoman spies. Yeah,
Exactly.
that makes sense.
That's been my experience. And speaking of my experience, I am Nick, and I am playing Sal, also known as Sala, also known as Salamander, and I am a figurehead of the ship that has come to life and still maintains a kind of connection to the ship. The character uses they/them pronouns, so Sal is a 8-foot-tall wooden figurehead that dresses eclectically.
All right. So last time we left it, we were having a great time at the Drunken Anchor.
Oh, anchor.
And Remy, the bar owner, was very welcoming, had a good time. It was open mic night. Lysander's Isle was a big hit. The third's rendition of taking suggestions from the audience and putting this terrific small ode together. It was delightful. But we noticed...
Whose Lysander is it anyway?
That's for a later episode.
Welcome to the game where
Spoilers.
the questions are made up and the points don't matter, if anything. But remind me, who noticed the person taking undue interest in Third's performance?
That would be Wall.
Wall and
I saw something, but I was too busy
right.
writing poetry.
You're vaguely aware that somebody's being weird, but like you're a performer. It's not the first weird thing you've
You
seen.
learn to tune it out.
Also,
Right.
I think Wall recognized Third for who they are, who their family is
Yeah.
before anyone else.
And I think Third recognized you as at least a hireable mercenary.
Third recognized Lucky.
Oh, Lucky as a
Yes.
mercenary. Yes. Okay. Great. And so the four of you were hitting it off and having a great, grand old time. But the thing I unfortunately need to tell you, Wall, the guy using this slate moves and like puts the slate away. For a reminder, this guy had a literal slate, like flat piece of stone, writing with a specific etcher, and you can respond to it and then etch a sketch it away and reset it. So it's basically like a chat, text. He was texting somebody. Wall, you saw this guy go, yep, put that in there, and then start to roll up his sleeves a little bit, and you see this tattoo on the inside of his forearm that was almost conspicuously hidden, because it's warm in here. It's cold outside, right? But it's warm in here. Everyone's having a good time. The fire's roaring.
Yeah.
And this guy's got his full sleeves on and jacket. And now you're like, oh, that's why that... It's sort of like a duster trench coat thing. You're like, not many people wear those. Like, oh, I do remember. There is an... I don't want to call them an organized crime family because they're not. That's a little generous for what this group is.
Okay.
But they are a gang, right? A gang from the Spire who've been trying to make moves in Creektown, and they are big, right? They have a lot of people, whereas they're not as respected as some of the other crime families that we might be aware of in our game and in our player base. But they are growing and powerful. They have some of the support of some of the like workers unions in Spire, which doesn't mean they're good guys in this case. Like we're all pro worker union here, but these guys maybe have made some promises to the unions that they probably can't really keep up. But
I mean, we're all pro-union. That doesn't mean the union is perfect.
yeah, not every union is. Hashtag not all unions. I'm using that right, I think. No. Okay, I'm being told that that's incorrect.
The judges have said they will not accept that.
Okay, all right, fair enough. So the group, I was going to call them the Land Sharks, unless there's any opposition or better names.
Land Sharks it is.
Man shark.
Yep. I mean dolphin.
I'm
Land
not
dolphins.
snicker at that.
That's okay. That's
Okay.
Candy Graham.
we like dumb jokes here.
We do.
Sea seals. No.
So this guy has the like shark tattoo that you recognize it immediately, right? That's something you've had to deal with as a mercenary. And if you know that, like, if you were hired as a mercenary to take on a small group of land sharks and you had the right group of mercenaries and time to plan, and you could go in and get the drop on them, like, that's fine. 1-on-1 or 5-on-5, it's like a pretty even fight. But they don't do even fights, right? And if this guy is putting this thing away and rolling up his sleeves, there's probably 20 people coming down the docks right now. Which is a lot. But nobody else in the bar. Several people have like looked at this guy's tattoo and gone like, like scooch their chair. They're giving him a little bit of room, but the way he's watching Third is extremely suspicious. And I'm going to ask you what you want to do about it.
I call out to the table, store high on Third. I believe we have trouble. Look at that one there.
Look over.
And as a reminder, Store High was added in our world creation episode as something bad is happening.
beware or
beware.
get out or
Yeah.
whatever.
A warning. So, how do we respond? Well, I think just lucky. Did Salamander? No, Salamander came back
Yeah.
with
Right.
the
Yeah.
meat and the
Milk.
milk.
The
and
milk.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So the three of you are at the table together.
Does this person have sailor tattoos at all, or is it just
Mhm.
that?
Yeah, he has the shark tattoo on that arm, and then he has like 4 rings that you can
Okay.
see that just go all the way around the forearm.
Okay. Do
Um,
those tattoos look legit to Wall?
Yeah.
Okay.
So he spent at least 4 years at sea.
Okay. He's at least welcome in the tavern.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
Does anyone have any outstanding business with the land sharks?
Wall looks over to third.
and I think third is like just like kind of making your way through the crowd. Lots of
Yes,
people like
I
high fiving
imagine,
you and putting offering coins like
Lysander was my idea.
yeah.
You want me to sign your what?
Yeah.
I'm not that kind of bard.
I think Wall's gonna start standing up and pushing through the crowd toward third, but
Okay.
in a way that's not too conspicuous.
Ooh, okay. So you want to conceal your movement or make it okay, I'm gonna have you roll on that one.
Okay.
Um
That's a bit cocked, but that's an 8, which is a tough choice.
okay. So your tough choice is you can kind of muscle through some people you don't know
Mm-hmm.
and probably I mean you're not gonna like kill someone, right? But it's you're gonna throw like really shove
Yeah.
people out of your way,
Yeah.
and that will create enough of a distraction that whoever this land shark is gonna be looking at there's a commotion and
Right.
not you,
Right.
or you can let this land shark. You could draw aggro
Mm. Mm.
as third is lost and the land shark looks at you. So that's your tough choice. Either shove some people to the ground and cause a commotion, or draw the attention yourself.
I'm gonna go with the first option. Wall's gonna start using his surprising body strength. Rolls up his sleeves, reveals he's basically completely covered in black ink, like deep black ink. That in itself should like give people like, whoa, okay, yeah. You go first, sir.
Because we know unfading tattoos are Kraken ink in our world, and that's a big deal. So.
Yeah. So I'm just bearing my full arms and just pushing people out of my way.
Okay.
I'm buying that one a drink first. Everyone out of my way.
Okay, so you are shoving
Nice.
people to the ground and yeah. Okay, so yeah, there is some commotion. Third, this I think kind of pulls you out of your reverie. It's not that far a distance either. It's sort of like trying to go 10 miles on the 101. Like, well, this is my life now. So,
The Californians.
yeah. Third.
Oh, well, how did you enjoy the show?
Our ship is docked at the furthest pier down the way. Make your way there now.
Sarah problem?
I take it you didn't hire protection when you left your family.
No.
Now's the time to hire one.
Farthest dock down the port. All right.
Go now. Keep smiling.
Ah. Hey, good to see you. Yes, I'll be back next week for certain.
It's Pier 42 and a half. Just so just you can be specific.
Yes, he thinks to himself that's a little odd thing to say, but
Yeah, Wall's gonna kind of put you in almost like a hold and kind of push people out of the way. And we're going to the other bar.
yeah, it's the other bar.
Now remind me, is Wall a tall?
He's average. He's probably 6 foot.
Okay.
Not super tall, but he's like J. Jonah Jameson kind.
Sure.
Yeah.
Got it.
I always thought he was wide, like not necessarily tall, but wide.
I am wide.
Sure.
Well, he has the bearing of a 6 foot tall man in a 5.5 foot tall man's body.
Sure. Okay. Yeah. Got it. And is third a tall?
I think he's pretty average height, but he is an elf. He has little elf ears and kind of bluish hair.
Sure. Okay. So
Skinny.
I think this means neither of you are exceptionally tall. I'm fine with this being, there's the crowd, you've created this commotion, and when you return here, there will be some ill will.
Sure.
Right? People
Yeah.
will remember you're very identifiable.
Yeah.
And so that's the result of the hard choice. But you're not gonna get kicked out. You just like Remy is giving you a dirty look.
I'm
of
gonna have
like,
to buy some drinks.
what
and,
the fuck?
Yeah.
And but you are able to kind of escort third through the mess. You two, what is happening over at the table, Lucky and Salamander?
I think we know when Wall says that it's store high on third, and he went to go get third, that we need to meet them. We need to get out now.
Mm-hmm. You hear a whisper in your ear, Lucky. A familiar voice has adjusted. So I just asked you this. Arjun's pronouns.
She, her.
She, her. Okay. She has pitched her voice to this very low, husky, but that she doesn't normally talk like. She just mostly sounds a little wispy, but she whispers in your ear, "Death is coming for you." And then she laughs at what she thinks is very funny.
It's like,
You will die this night.
yeah.
Is Arjun bothering you?
She thinks she's funny. Open mic night always brings out the wannabe stand-up comedian in her. Other than that, trouble.
We should go. I want to take a quick look over at the small blonde passed out gentleman.
Oh yeah.
Has anything changed about his situation?
Oh no, he's very stable and
Okay.
reliable.
Just want to make sure this wasn't part of a, a
Oh,
setup or
Does he have a
semester.
tattoo? Maybe.
He has one ring.
Okay.
Yeah.
So just a sailor. Cool.
I will stand up and I will grab the undrunk glass of cow's milk,
Uh huh.
since the goat's milk was half used with the
Sure.
mead, and I'm going to hold that in my hand as a prepared to dash in someone's eyes if I need
okay.
to, just as a way to be like,
Um,
I'm unobtrusively arming myself.
okay, and you're trying to basically clear a path to the door.
Yeah.
Okay.
I want to catch Remy's eye, and I want to glance down at the glass that I'm about to take, the mug, and I'm gonna put an extra coin on the table.
Okay. Yeah, she's pretty distracted because she's real annoyed with what Wall is doing.
Right.
But she looks like, okay,
It's-
she's across the bar. You can't really hear, but her whole
Right.
body language is like,
Sure, might as
Fine.
well happen.
Yeah.
But as you make your way towards the door, and I think Wall had pointed out this guy
Mm-hmm.
to the two of you at some point. But as you get over to the door, you see this guy has kind of backed up through the crowd and is kind of just elbowing people out of his way. There's 4 times as many people in here as it was a minute ago, it seems like. But is backing up towards the door and is, sticking his hand out to hold the door shut because it opens inward. And is holding that there as the two of you come up to the door. And he's not really registering you as threats, right? He hasn't recognized you. Actually, you know what? I'm going to give him a roll on that because one of you is literally famous.
Who?
That's an 8. Well, Lucky is a famous mercenary we've discovered. Recognizable on sight.
Right.
Rude.
You know what?
Sal is completely no one looks twice at Sal.
No, but Sal is a walking wooden statue.
Right.
And is
8 feet tall.
is
Yeah.
certainly worth noticing. But are you that wooden statue? I don't know. And this is a world with merfolk and elves and Sasquatch, probably. Whatever. This is a mystical world. It's not like a low magic world with humans and some magic wands. It's, this is big wild shit. So
I do love that it's the not talls teamed up to do diversionary tactics, and the talls just decided to casually walk out like no one was gonna notice.
Yeah. And you said Lucky's like 6'3", 6'4"?
Like she is a tall
Yeah.
lady.
And like a Xena build, right? Like
She both.
not
Mm.
super bulky, but not a waif either.
She's on the bulkier side.
Yeah, okay.
She works out.
Like
She lifts.
her grace is surprising.
Okay,
Mm.
yes, I like that. So I think this is the hard choice I'm going to give him is keep the door shut or back up from imminent doom. And he's like turns and sees the two of you and is visibly startled and is like, and backs away from holding the door, but pulls this just short sword, it's like 1.5 feet long, and has enough room to be using it because everyone's staying away from him for the most part, but also is not holding the door shut anymore. So if you were to open it, it would open towards him. If you wanted to do that, just so you have an idea of the layout here. And he's like backing away from these like two giants who's, he's like 5'9", built, right? He's definitely an enforcer type, but was not prepared for this. So, yeah, he backs away, but is combat ready now. So, what would you like to do?
I'm going to throw the milk in his face.
Okay, that was a prepared action. So let's go ahead and roll.
Nice.
This game doesn't include advantage, disadvantage, but I think it works really well.
Okay.
So let's roll with advantage because you're prepared.
That's a 20.
Oh,
Yeah.
natural 20. Critical success. It turns out this guy is not just lactose intolerant, he's allergic to milk. This is two different things, by the way.
Yes.
Milk allergy is not the same as being lactose intolerant. And if lactose intolerant would not really be a problem with milk on your face.
Mm.
But immediately his eyes are burning, his face is puffy, he's, oh, it's like, chemical warfare. And he even wants to go and swing, but with a critical success. Like he just like thunk, his short sword is like half stuck in the wall.
So the other part of this is I want to say, I'm terribly sorry. Let's get you cleaned up, and I'm just going to pick him up and move out towards the door.
Okay.
I'm hoping.
Oh,
I'm hoping
see,
Lucky
I
will
wanted
open the
to.
door.
I actually wanted to.
Open the
With the
door in
way
his
that you,
face?
yes.
Oh, slam it
The-
then. Yeah,
with-
go.
Yeah.
Carry them together.
Yeah,
With
I
the
think-
way that you described it, I was like, oh, perfect. Well, he's not looking. Just like swing wide open right into his face.
Great.
Yeah, I think in that split second of like milk throw, great.
Oh, terribly sorry.
Door, and then you were like gonna maybe reach, but I'm not even gonna have you roll for the door attack. So yeah, you whip the door open, slam him in the face, and he's just like so disoriented. He falls over. His sword he just leaves his sword stuck in the wall there, and but that's all sort of like behind the open door. But I'm gonna say the four of you managed to get out into the cold night air. Unless there's anything we need to resolve in the Drunken Anchor. Okay, so out in the air, you can hear a lot of feet running. Creektown is not a place to be sneaky.
Yeah.
Every board is creaky. It's in the name. And as you kind of look towards shore, you can see at least a dozen people, probably more, in the, like wobbling, floating walkways and, torches and all kinds of stuff. There's just a whole bunch of people running down here.
Towards us?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, with apparent purpose. I would recommend running for it.
Well, what is going on? Why did you pull me out of this so quickly?
You see those folks over there?
Uh-huh.
They
They're
need-
running at us very quickly.
Yes. And we will find out why later. But for now, we must take you to safety.
Yes.
I apologize for the forward, and I'm just gonna pick you up over the shoulder and start running.
Third, is that acceptable?
I don't think he has the strength to resist.
Sure.
He's just having this moment of, Oh, this is happening.
Yeah, I'm like, what?
Is they're doing the running in air like
No, I think Sal has me over his shoulder.
Okay, so if we're gonna make a run for it, the quest has a system set up kind of like skills challenges, which is like the good thing from D&D 4th edition. So
the good thing.
there were, I actually kind of like. Well, anyway, we don't have to get into that. So what I would like to do is suggest we need 4 successes before we get 3 fails. Right, fails being 5 or under, and a mixed success. I probably won't count against you, but won't count towards. Unless you want to offer a deal of some kind. I'll let the hard choice be up to you. If you can convince me, sell it. All right? However, the point of a scene like this is not whether you escape. It's the condition in which you escape. All right? So I just like to put that up. That like the stakes are you are escaping. You're the heroes of the story, right? You're not beat up and thrown in the drink.
I just have the flash of Peter Falk saying he doesn't die at this point.
Yeah, exactly. I like that. I think it's good to kind of set the scene expectations and whatnot. So that is the premise of this scene, is that we're making a run for it. What I would like to do, this game doesn't have skills or specific things like that, so each of you will get a die roll. But what I'm going to ask you to do is explain what it is you're doing that your character would be good at, and how you are facilitating the quick retreat. We don't really have to do a particular order. If anyone has a great idea for how we're helping the team escape,
I kind of want to know. We've been in Creektown before. We are regulars here, so it's reasonable to assume that like there's the possibility that spirits are around here that I have assisted.
Probably, yeah.
I want to know if it's possible for me to get Argent and to like get a couple of them who might be nearby to poltergeist a little bit on these guys.
Okay, to hold them up.
Yeah, like that board isn't just creaky.
Sure.
But the nails that we're holding down no longer are.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. That's definitely doable. Let's go ahead and roll. You don't need to spend an action point for that. Oh, and if anyone does want to use your action skills, that's just an automatic success, right? You don't have to roll the dice. If you spend action points, that's it.
I got a 13, so that is a success.
Okay, that's 1 on the success column. Okay. Actually, I should do that as a check mark, not an X. Get confused by my own notation.
Are the sharks are part of the local ecosystem, right? I mean, they're known. I realize that was a weird way to put that, but they're sort of a known quantity. It's
the
not
land shark gang.
Yes, the land shark gang.
Yes.
Like it's not like people will be surprised that they're here. Like you couldn't call out, oh, land sharks, and everyone goes, oh no.
Oh.
Everyone's just like they're just kind of.
Yeah, I mean, it is the sort of thing where people would look out and see a dozen or more land sharks running down the boardwalk and be like, whoop, like
Okay.
close the shutters and let that whole situation go by.
Okay.
Yeah.
In that case, what I'm going to do is summon a draft of chilled air back in their direction, which will slow them down. I'm actually using freeze, which is a 0-point power.
Oh, okay, yeah. If it doesn't cost you an action point, I'm going to have you roll the dice still,
That's fair enough.
but totally valid.
That's a failure.
Yay! It's not a 1, is it?
No, it was a 4.
Okay. Okay, 1 success, 1 fail. I love it.
What's our
I want 4 successes before 3 fails.
Gotcha. Okay.
Wall's gonna spend a point. He's gonna use his overpower. You use your strength to overpower a commoner or minion within reach. You cannot use this ability on bosses.
Okay.
Describe how you overpower them. You put the target in a compromised position until they spend a turn getting out of it. I kind of see Wall just standing back and waiting, and there's just this mob running towards him.
Sure.
And he's a wall. He waits for the first one within reach, and he just puts his hand out, and it's like
Creates the accordion.
yeah. It's just crumpling against his palm.
I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they start piling up. The boards are creaking even more under them. Somebody falls off to the side. We get a Wilhelm scream.
Yeah.
Does that cost you an action point?
It cost me 1 point.
Okay, well that's an automatic success then. We're now 2-1. Third, how would you like to aid in our escape?
Okay, look, Third has this moment of. You may be wondering how I got in this situation.
Yes, exactly. We get a close-up freeze frame.
But let me tell you, it's quite a story. Hi, I'm Third of Fandris, and my life is kind of crazy. And then he looks away from the camera. And I
Like,
will.
who are you talking to?
Spirits.
Yeah.
He's like, this is happening now. So I'm going to spend an action point and cast Memorize, and I'm just going to make just like a little flash of sparks. Sparkle.
Mesmerize.
Mesmerize.
Yeah.
It's a skill. Basically, nearby commoner or minion. Basically, until they leave the area, the creature cannot move, take action, or respond to conversation. It stops if they are harmed,
Sure.
or once I leave the area.
Yeah, it seems
So
like a
just,
great way to create more of a log jam of like whoever's
Mhm.
getting around
Yes.
Wall is probably already in a choke point. So, yeah, does that cost you an action point?
Yes, it costs 1.
Okay. Then we are at 3. So we only need 1 more success. So we only have 1 failure. There's basically nothing that could go wrong. Pooja?
Say that.
Thanks.
Ow. I think as I see that, like, they're kind of in this weird, like, log jam up situation, but I'm gonna call to Wall. Like a dolphin cry.
Sure.
Mm.
Yeah, which is our signal.
Yes.
It's my
And,
favorite Prince song.
Um,
Dolphins cry.
and I wonder, like, what weapons does Lucky carry just secreted on her person besides her main two?
Yeah.
And I'm like, it's not unheard of to have some, like, just a handful of caltrops.
That wouldn't surprise me at all. Yeah.
So she's going to, as like Wall passes,
Mm-hmm.
it's almost like a relay race at this point.
Sure. Yeah, I mean, Wall has created 1/2 of a log jam, Mesmerize from third like casting from over Salamander's shoulder, which is great. Creates another sort of log jam, and it's really just needs one last element to
So I'm just gonna
buy
like
you enough time.
reach back into a pocket. What? How is there a pocket there?
Sure.
And
Few people have pouches.
Not to carry caltrops. It's
Hey.
very, very bad.
I don't judge.
and tosses out just like a handful
Mhm.
across the lane.
In the little bit of one of the boardwalks that's left to.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Just to block off that last little bit of area.
Let's roll a die. Make sure you can throw them all in the water.
Or in our way.
How would that happen?
Yeah, I did. I threw
Oh,
them
no.
all in the water.
What did you roll?
1.
Oh, a 1
That's
is
right.
critical
never
failure.
coming.
Mm.
Oh, no.
You are
Yikes.
vanished.
Yeah.
All
your caltrops are gone.
Uh-oh.
right. Now, normally, I'm not going to do it this time because I didn't say it at the top. Normally, I count 20s as 2 successes and 1s as 2 fails.
Mm.
I didn't put that up on the board, so I'm only going to count it as 1 failure, but I am going to cause some damage here. I think Wall, who's catching up, and Lucky, I'm going to roll a d6, and you both are going to take that much damage.
Okay.
Ooh.
Fair.
Oh, actually, no, d6 is too much. d4. The actual caltrop of... okay. Oh, God, it's a 4.
Yikes.
I'm so sorry. That,
So we start at 10, yeah?
yes.
Okay.
Yeah. And if anyone is familiar with Quest and curious, normally you would get a new power or ability at the end of each session. We didn't do that last time. We're not going to do it at the end of every game session we have here because we're using the optional rule to extend that a little bit. But that's why, in case you were curious.
I have something then. So hearing my companions cry out a little bit, I'm assuming that's an okay characterization.
I
Grunt-
bellow in
grunts or-
rage.
I was about to
Yeah.
say it's like a kind of a cross between a scream
Oh, you know,
and a yowl.
I want to paint a picture a little bit here. So Salamander with third over shoulder is chugging
Their
ahead.
shoulder.
Their shoulder. Thank you. Chugging away, right? Wall and Lucky are trying to buy some time by blocking things off. And Mesmerize from third is working. We can't ask who's on third. We just have to ask who third is on, which is Salamander.
Also,
Believe me, I've been,
also Happy Jacks After Dark.
Oh, yeah, both of those options. Never mind. I mean, not never mind.
Notice I'm writing
Mind.
this down.
Forever mind. So the tossing out of caltrops, the age-old tradition, hits in a way that you didn't expect. It hits the boards, it bounces. This whole place is like flexing and shaking, and it's pretty like everything's moving really weird right now. And I think what really was happening is everything was moving so wild that caltrops went out and like one got under Wall's foot, and you're like, oh, and it just catches you off guard. Then you tumble, take Lucky down with you. You both get like a couple caltrops in the shoulders, and and you're getting back to your feet, both of you. But that's how I want to characterize this. Does that make sense visually in our minds?
It does.
Yeah.
It
Okay.
does.
There are also boards are cracking. Like somebody, like either one of you hitting the floor here is a lot of impact, right? This place is not delicate. It's not gonna like fall apart at any moment. But if you hit it with a thick muscular person, it's gonna crack, right? So that's worth noting is that you've both taken some wounds. They're still pretty well held up back there, but they're depending on how this breaks loose, we've got one more roll, no matter what.
I'm going to use an action point to use Cloud Call.
Oh.
You swirl your hands in the air and produce a thick fog centered on you. The fog rolls out rapidly, spilling around corners and down slopes. Within a few seconds, you blanket everything nearby in fog. Creatures inside the fog cannot see beyond their reach, preventing them from making ranged attacks.
Do you mind if I require you to put down third for this?
No, that's fair. We're
Okay.
figuring how all this works out.
Yeah. And that's an automatic success because you're spending action point.
So I will say to third, just a moment, and put third down,
Yep.
and then use my abilities to call up the fog to cover our escape.
Now, does this fog come up everywhere because we're over the water right now? Does it come shooting out of your hands? What is the?
I think it's more of like it comes up from the water.
Okay.
It's more of a natural looking thing.
Sure.
And in this environment, so as if suddenly it was 5 a.m. when the temperature's changing.
Yep.
And you've got that really no visibility in front of you, and just everyone knows where we're headed for our ship, so
Yeah.
it'll just cover everyone.
Yeah, that definitely gives you enough cover between all of the other things you were able to do. The four of you managed to get your wits about you, pluck out the caltrop. You're like, hey, well, I can reuse that one.
I definitely, like, in a fit of pike,
Yeah.
just like fling it away. I like to think that the reason why we took so much damage wasn't the caltrops themselves, but that when you went down and I went down, there was just a
we
brief
did.
moment of like panic.
Mm.
So there was like panic fight.
Like,
Yeah.
wait, who are we fighting?
Yeah. Yeah.
I like that. Yeah, that 4. I mean, it's so much. It's almost half your health, right? Like,
Like,
I'm so sorry. The D4 was very rude.
I rolled that instead of the d6.
Yeah. Let's see.
Are you with us now?
My D6 just rolled a 3, so all right. So I'm going to probably star wipe is the best thing to use in this situation, and get us to the ship. All right. Anything we want to take care of before we get to the ship?
So, just a moment, Sal. You seem like a reasonable being. I hope you'll answer me honestly, but are you kidnapping me right now?
We are helping you escape.
Escape from what exactly?
And I just point back towards the land sharks that were running.
Yes, that's obvious. I was hoping for a little more specifics. Never
So-
mind, we'll figure it out later. Let's go.
I'm sure Wall will fill us in.
Okay. So we have a montage of the.
Oh, just quick backtrack. I'm gonna seed this. I'm just gonna say, Wall. I'm sure Wall will fill us in. Wall called this the store high, which just sounds like gibberish. I assume to you.
Yeah. Well, call the store high. Yeah. All right. So we have the montage of undoing all the ropes and getting ready to go. Fortunately, you're able to cast off without doing any damage to the ship. You even between the fog and how much these guys got held up, you were able to grab the last. You were supposed to finish loading supplies before you went out to drink tonight, and you're like, "Fuck it, we'll do it in the morning," and you should have done it. But you bought yourself enough time that you're able to get all of the supplies on board, and you're listening. You could hear some of them. I think maybe a couple of them make it down, and Wall just pushes them off the dock.
Yeah.
So you have enough time to load up, and
Oh, are we leaving town? Are we leaving?
Would you like to stay?
Well, my caboodle's back at the inn. Can't leave without that.
Well, the way's back there, down the ramp, through those men.
Oh,
Well,
I
you
suppose
have
I'll have
your-
to buy a new one in the next town.
you have your kit at least.
Yes, but at the inn there was my caboodle. You know what a caboodle is.
I mean,
But you can find out later. Stay tuned.
Well, Lucky knows
You
all
can-
about it. It's a kitten caboodle.
Yeah.
you can make your own choices. But,
I
you
suppose.
know, as my aunt, Spotty used to say, the choices that you make are yours to bear.
Suppose I'll just buy a new one in the next place.
I mean, it's only so far, I believe, 20 guys.
No, it's fine. My sister could take them, but me, not. More of a poet than a fighter.
All right. We see the ship sail off into the misty night, and we're gonna just jump forward a little bit. The our scene at Creektown was a flashback. We are now catching up with our characters, maybe a week out to sea. The word came that there is a close watch out for third at Creektown and Spire. So turning around and going back was not wise. So we have a number of options available to us. There are things to go and see in the world. You all have your own goals and things that you want to accomplish. So we're just opening on the ship at sea. It's a blue sky, midday, decent wind, and the ship is scooting along as ships do. I think that's the normal verb that people use. It's also worth mentioning that there isn't much of extra crew, right? We determined that this three-masted ship, in our world, it's very similar to a three-masted bark, but we're not going to hold to that because I don't know enough about ships, so it's not important. But this ship is special on a couple counts, and this is also because it was acquired as legitimate salvage, and yet was originally property of the Royal Intrepid Shipping and Exploration Company.
A person cannot be property.
Correct. Undoubtedly. so.
Ergo,
Yes.
it's not salvage, it was liberation.
Yes.
It's Salamander.
It's legitimate salamander. So the, on paper, the Rise Company was obliged, that it was acquired at a time where there was enough pressure and visibility where they had to go like, okay. But that's probably not their legitimate or last feeling on the topic. They had invested a lot in the ship. The ship has these twisting, curly blue runes on the bottom of the hull, sort of on either side of the keel, but all mostly under the waterline. So there's a little like cool kind of, undersea glow. But these are runes that allow this ship to go up onto land.
They come with their own rave lights.
Yeah.
Is that what those are?
I was just thinking, ground effects.
Yeah, exactly.
But these are water effects.
Yeah, and it comes with a lift kit if you
Right.
can get on land.
The
So
bark, boom,
Yeah.
boom.
it does not float. So the runes don't really do anything while you're in the water. They sort of reduce the weight a little, and you can carry more cargo. You guys aren't loaded up with cargo right now, but it has these runes that would let you float up on land. And it has a lot of automated components that are, magically enchanted for the sails to go up and down and move as needed. And you can, lock the wheel and do a lot of things where a ship this size would normally need like 10 or 12 people to run it. It's totally doable with 3 or 4. And on top of that, we have a little bit of help. I don't know how much help Arjun is. But we had, what did we decide in character generation? I know we went back and forth on the idea of NPCs, and I don't know that we were real solid on any of that.
I think we had like a few at least. Like
Yeah,
We said
got
there was
some.
like 3 to 5 or
Yeah.
something.
Okay,
But we didn't name them or determine who does what.
okay, great. Let's come up with some jobs for our crew. We have, that we probably need a cook, right? That's an easy one. Like we probably need a just plain old swabby, somebody to swab the decks and do all the grunt work that none of you want to do. So we'll go swabby.
The swabby should be like a first year.
Or maybe somebody who needs to get their first ring.
they're working on.
Yeah,
distress.
sorry,
right,
that's
yeah.
what I mean. Is like somebody like
They're
in
they're
there.
a
in the
zero
internship.
And the
year.
moon's coming up
Yeah,
in
exactly.
3 weeks.
Third also doesn't have a stripe.
He wasn't intending to, but we'll see how things go.
So cook, swabby, and
Quartermaster.
We should have a
No, the cook.
medic.
Yeah, we
Yes,
need a
we
medic.
need a
oh, that's probably cook.
yeah.
We should have a medic.
Yeah.
It's a medic named Cook.
And the cook's named Medic.
Yeah.
I
Who's on
think
first?
I think you should have somebody like a quartermaster who can sort of run the cannons. But I'll give you a choice. You can have a quartermaster, or you can have a medic.
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 Mm-hmm.
Really?
I intend to get hurt a lot.
Okay.
And
I
My
don't
name is Wall.
I would say that Lucky's ideas about how to run the cannons is basically like, what is there to know? You put the ball in and then light it on fire.
That's why I was going to say cannoneer.
Mm.
But also being the one without blood.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, you could still be injured. So
Sure, of course.
the medic will have to come up with some interesting ways to help you out.
Cannoneering's your side hustle.
All right, medic, and I'm picturing we probably have like 2 cannons on a side. It's not a really huge ship, right? I don't know if you all have looked up like a 3-masted bark, but some of them have more than 2 cannons. It kind of depends on what the point of it is, but their appeal was they're a little smaller and faster than a ship of the line, but can't go toe to toe with one. and I think that holds here too, right? In this fantasy world, I think there are some pretty strange arrangements of ship, right? There are some weird fantasy things that, yachts and all kinds of wild stuff out there. But, when it comes to shipping and exploration, it's, there is a standard in place for a reason, because everyone's competing with each other. Everyone wants the fastest ship. Everyone wants to be able to carry the most cargo in the least amount of time and, maximize their ability to do so. So, does that make sense for us? A lot of what I'm saying is suggestion. I'm just very assertive. So, feel free to.
I kind of like the idea of maybe a lot of the mass-produced warships from the Royals. They kind of have like a standard template, and their cannons are kind of fixed because it's easier if you fix your cannons and you just turn the ship. You're firing 20 cannons anyway.
Yeah.
But we have swivel cannons.
Okay. So we have a degree of arc.
Yeah. So we have a wider firing arc.
Okay.
And that's like one of our.
So we have Luke down in the thing going.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So Cook, I'm gonna put in a vote for disgraced fancy chef. Sort of a what?
Like a
What's
former Michelin star.
Yeah. What's that guy who's
Does
always like
Cook
calling people
know?
fucking idiots?
Oh, Gordon
Gordon
Ramsay.
Ramsay?
Yeah. Oh no. It's
Someone else maybe.
Okay.
Yeah.
Too gross.
Anyone else?
All right. I didn't know how much there was there. That okay. Totally fine.
Does Cook know that it was initially our bad review
Oh, they got him fired.
that like
from his...
started the whole?
The downfall.
Yes.
Yeah.
Interesting.
That put that banana peel right in front of their foot.
I was sort of thinking when you said it, the love interest in Ratatouille. She wasn't the head chef, but she's who the guy is falling for. She was like the first the top Seuss.
Sure. Yeah.
It's like a Nigella Lawson.
Sure. I'd have to look that up. Nigella Lawson.
Mhm.
All right. That's
Or a let's see, who's famous here?
sure.
Or like a Padme Lakshmi.
Sure.
Mm.
I mean, whoops. Sorry. I follow her Instagram, and
Welcome to Castoff
Very-
Casting.
I'm very motivated by whatever it is.
Oh, I'm sorry,
Lakshmi is.
Padma Lakshmi. I think that's.
Padma
I was like,
Lakshmi.
oh,
Yeah.
I've messed up the name of the person.
Whatever she's up to, I'm interested in.
Subscribe.
Yes.
Hmm.
Subscribe twice. But let's go with somebody a little younger, probably like a 30-something.
Mm.
Was came from being a personal chef and started a restaurant, and like I think the review was fair. Like there were problems with it. They were kind of trading on their laurels,
Mm.
and this actual their effort at a restaurant was falling flat.
Mm.
Your review was the last nail in the coffin.
Mm.
If that is that okay to
Yeah.
ascribe
that.
that? But of course they don't know that you are the mysterious reviewer.
Right.
And they probably blame everything on that. Like everything was perfect.
If it wasn't for that review, if
Yeah.
I ever find out.
Yeah.
We actually hired them onto the ship because we felt a little
Yeah.
guilty.
Yeah. I like
Okay.
that.
Okay. So Cook, middle 30s, dark hair. We're going with she, her, seems like. And we'll come up with a name. Oh, where's my name generator? Name generator.
Did you two figure out a name for a pen name for your?
We haven't yet.
Okay,
We're gonna have to work on that.
a pen name and the name of the blog.
Yeah.
Or the post or whatever.
Okay, we also have
Greater expectations.
Oh, bites and bobs.
Bites and bobs.
Bob's Bites. Let's see. Real names. No, this is not
How can
helpful.
we get these reviews out without Cook ever seeing? What have I done to us?
It is quite a commitment if we really want to go hard into that. Just so you know.
So
I
the-
also have a note on here that there is a nemesis chef somewhere.
Is the nemesis ship on the ship? The call is coming from on the ship.
Tarina?
Oh, I kind of love that. Both of you are like sneaking away, like, we have to go run some errands. Yes, me too.
Yeah.
And, like,
Yeah.
you're going opposite directions to post your.
Yep.
Oh, I
Okay.
like that because it sounds kind of like Tareen as well.
Sure, yeah. It's Tarina, so yeah, Tarine, that's fine. Our Swabi, wonder if we get his name wrong a lot. No?
I
Feels
just
bad?
like that trope. It feels
Okay.
bad to me.
All right. We can, I mean, it's got to be a younger person.
Slobby's like our intern until he earns a stripe. right?
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
They definitely need to get this journey on the upcoming special moon that was.
So they need to earn a C name.
Yeah. But I mean, they have a name.
Yeah.
That you call them now.
Yeah.
Or Swabi.
Yeah.
Daniel,
Sure. Okay.
young Daniel.
How about Danny?
I
Okay.
like that.
Danny boy, I'm writing the poem right now.
Excellent.
When he dies.
There's a murder among us.
Preemptive. Goodness.
Murder on the Salamander Express.
Oh.
All right. So
That's what I
Danny, our Swabi, we'll learn more about him, I think. In our medic, I always default to the doctor on Battlestar Galactica.
Dr. Coddle.
Yeah.
Dr. Kettle.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, whatever we want to name them. I just like that guy
Yeah.
and the like cigar
Yep.
and hard drinking
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
Like a Dr. Pat's.
Sure. Is that an actual character name or?
Yeah, like that I want it to be that, and I want him to have, or him or they or she or whoever, but like that kind of Mrs. Potts kind of like sturdy build.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I mean, and let's turn it a little bit. That trope is usually portrayed very masculine. So, but why don't we have it be a Mrs. Potts?
Maybe an older woman.
Yeah,
She's seen some things.
yeah. She's like 50. She's got a bunch of rings. Plenty of ink. Ink to go around.
Yeah.
See.
So she'd be very respected.
Yeah. And is Mrs. Potts another character somewhere, or that was your idea for this character?
That was my idea for this character.
Okay, great.
I mean, but Mrs.
I'm not-
Potts is also
Is that Beauty and the
Beauty and
Beast?
the Beast.
Oh, I see.
Oh.
Okay.
But
Oh,
that's
because she's
fine.
one of the.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fine.
It's,
Yeah.
it's not an uncommon.
Dr. Potts.
Mm.
Doc. I'm just calling
I mean,
Doc.
we,
Oh, yeah,
it doesn't
Doctor.
have to be Potts. I just wanted
And
to
also,
like I
what
had
if,
that.
what if Daniel's her son?
Yeah, I'm fine with that. I don't think it has to be a
I don't know,
secret
I just-
either,
it-
right? It's just like,
Yeah.
yeah, if you hire me, you got to bring Danny.
But she's an accomplished naval medic.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's still going to make him work for it.
This is some Beverly Crusher Wesley situation we just made.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah. We all have our influences. I would also like to have Danny and let's say Doc Potts doesn't flow. I wonder if there's like Doc something. If there's a little better like Doc Egan or
Doc Stills.
Doc Still.
Doc.
But we don't want to still.
Feels like bad luck.
Yeah. Something. There's something there. I'm gonna go with Doc for now. And Doc wanted her son Danny to come along. And I'm gonna say they are somewhat distantly related to merfolk, right? They have kind of like thin details on the outer end of their ears. There's a big range of what merfolk look like, obviously. but they have slightly finned ears. They have gills. Green blue skin, light, like pastel green blue, and probably I don't know. How do we feel about bald? Yeah,
Sounds
Wrong with
good.
that?
sure. Okay, great. Cool. So we have our NPC crew. Also, at this moment, as we're sailing along in the broad blue sky and an open ocean, I think what are all of you up to in a moment where there is nothing specifically that needs to be done? That maybe we're going to have a conversation a little bit about where we're going exactly, but we headed out, and you've probably already decided at this point. So, couple rumors I could toss out. One, there was something that people called the town at the bottom of the sea, which doesn't make a ton of sense. Like you've heard of merfolk towns. You've probably been to a merfolk town. They are underwater. It's not terribly surprising. You can get like a ring of water breathing and go visit and hang out.
Like Gungan cities.
No, I think they're actually like in the water,
okay.
like not in a dome.
Gotcha.
Right? So this place is a rumor that you heard sailors talking about as the town at the bottom of the sea, which, okay, sure. I don't really know why that would be special or what that means, but something you heard about. There are also several places we could go. We could go to, the Isle of the Seven Queens. We could go somewhere that you've thought of and want to be headed. Not behead, but to,
No, we'll see.
Be
It's still
headed
early.
towards.
yes. So what? Oh, and ostensibly we're also trying to buy Third some time for things to cool off and hopefully return at some point. But
We spent a lot of time building Creektown. I feel
Yep.
like it would be a waste if we didn't.
oh
go
yeah,
back at some
we
point.
can end up back there. That's no problem. But we also built some of the background stuff, and I think maybe some of that is what started to come in the last week as you're all sailing together.
Yeah, I think Wall at some point would have a moment with Third, just kind of alone, and just have a moment of checking in and seeing, I know who your father is. Do you want to share that with the others, or do you want that to remain a secret?
I suppose it doesn't hurt them if they know. Might be better if they do. Do you know my father?
Your father is the kind of man that does a lot of business for important people.
Yes, you know who my father is. I agree.
It's like, yeah, that's right out of the brochure.
Can I request that this has happened like the first night? Because
Yeah.
I feel that Wall would want to let us know what we were getting into immediately.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
if the solution is, we tie Third up and go back and go, mea culpa.
Yeah.
Yeah,
All right. So this is
Drop 'em off.
background for
Uh-huh.
yeah,
what we were up to
Right.
before now.
right,
Yeah.
right.
And it makes perfect sense too, because like we would also wonder, it's like, oh, did one of us do we need to change what we're doing?
Right,
Did
right.
somebody tip off the land sharks about
Yeah. And I
Sal?
think
Like, what is the deal?
Walt called the store high, so I think the policy is we trust each other. If one of us says it, we do it, but we need to know the details after. There's no secrets.
I'm sure you'll explain that to me at some point.
Okay.
So I think there's that.
After a couple of
Yeah,
jokes about store low and
Right.
store left and store
Yeah.
right.
Yep.
Yeah.
Store starboard, store port.
yeah. Store aft.
And Third believes all of this means something
Yeah.
different.
The problem is whenever you try to tell Third something, Danny looks so confused. Right?
Yeah.
He's like,
Mm.
he's like trying to take
Yeah.
notes. He has this like tiny little notebook that he's trying to keep enough room in to keep
Wall
taking
just
notes.
pushes his notepad down.
What-
Easy, son.
Okay.
Well, I'd like to get some cargo I'd like to get some cargo in my belly. I always ride better in the waves that way.
Is that how you eat?
No. What?
You're the ship. Part of the ship. You are the ship. I'm still trying to wrap my head around that. It's fascinating. It's really fascinating. So just how do you get sustenance? Do you breathe?
These are all excellent questions, and I didn't really clear a lot of this with you, but my thought was that Sal kind of subsists off of the ocean and the salt air.
Yeah, I don't have a problem with that.
Okay.
I wasn't planning on having a starvation storyline, so I think we're okay.
I do think that there's like a element to these questions where like you might just get a lot of like antagonistic stares about asking super personal
Yeah.
questions
Yeah.
to our family member.
Sorry, where were my manners? I've never been with a crew. I'm not sure how things work. It's a bit different.
It can be it can be confusing. I am myself, and I am also the ship. And the ship is the ship, and the ship is also me.
Yes, indeed, that is confusing. But I will take your word on it, my friend. We've all seen stranger things about. What's a ship? A living ship.
So one of the things that I imagine is that shoving off or complicated actions, Sal will be physically separate from the ship and running around and doing things and things like that. But when we're just sort of sailing and there's not any big change, that Sal does their part of the ship sailing by going back to the masthead.
You can. However you want to color that in, it's fine. You can be walking around the ship too, however you want.
When we talk to Sal when we're on the ship and sailing, can we just speak like, are you like ship computer, or do we have to go up to the masthead?
I think you actually have to talk to me.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that
I
makes
don't
sense.
think that that's...
I like that.
I like that too.
Yeah. More intimate. I like that.
So it makes it less creepy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, that's fine. So
Okay.
in this first day after, I want to jump ahead a little bit of that eventually, but in that first day, we would have decided on a destination. So where are we headed?
Well, I'll be honest. The thing you said about the Isle of the Seven Queens sounds fascinating. And if you've got something there, or you just like the name and I thought it was cool, I'm all for heading that direction.
Wall is a man of tradition, so we will cast a dagger at the map wall.
Oh, right.
Dart.
A
Dart.
dart at the map wall.
That's a thing.
But
that
that's
we
also
do.
Joe saying to Jason, just do what you want to do.
Well, if I know Jason, it's not like he's got a module there that is Isle of the Seven Queens.
No. So the I do like the idea of randomizing this a little bit. All right, I've got a couple things in mind. I'm gonna. Would you like to throw your dart?
Sure.
All right.
Wait, are we doing the thing? Weren't you gonna blindfold third and play the prank?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That first
Let's
day
do that.
Yeah.
where
Let's
Oh,
explain
yeah,
to our
yeah.
audience. what
yes,
it is.
let's let that play out. So we set up the tradition.
Yes.
And we've explained to third, like, okay, so here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna roll the map out on the wall.
Mhm.
We're gonna throw a dart. We're gonna pick where we go that way.
Is that how
right?
this works?
And I imagine you've separated in our standing.
Oh, of
This is
course,
like
in
below
the
deck
room, yeah.
probably, and I think probably Doc is there too. She doesn't have anything to do. Danny's up actually swabbing the deck. That does seem like a thing you have to do a lot, or the salt buildup. Of
Yeah.
something,
It's great. It's like exfoliation.
Sure, yeah.
Spa treatment.
But I think Doc and Tarina are both there because they're curious to see where they're going. But was it Wall's turn to throw? I think, or no, we were gonna let the new
Yeah.
new
Yeah,
guy
do it.
throw.
You're
Okay.
gonna blindfold me.
Anything we
intend
need
to
to
be
add
part of our
to this
crew.
scene? Doc is sitting back in like the one comfy chair that she has like salvaged at some point, and no one's allowed to sit in it.
I think Wall's part of the ceremony. He's very solemn and somber. He takes it very seriously, and he just looks over the dart and just says a quiet incantation of, "In full trust, we place in you. Guide us true."
Okay, and so you know what the gag is, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Good.
The winds of fate will help us find our way.
All right. So, third, what's on your mind at this point, where they're telling you about their tradition and you've been accepted to help decide where to go next? What does that mean to you?
And just remember, if you don't hit the map,
Uh-huh.
you've cursed us for the next year.
Oh gosh. Well, he's blindfolded while you're telling him all
That's
this.
never happened.
I think that because of the nature of his own quest, as he just wants to explore and see what's out there, he's okay with this. These people seem all right. They got him out of trouble, so they can probably be trusted. With like slight, little wary, just because it's new. He doesn't know them as well, but they seem fairly trustworthy. He doesn't have much on his person to take with him, so why not? As long as he's back home in a few months, that's fine. It's fine. And the less plan there is, the less likely he is to be found by other people.
Let your heart guide your hand.
Okay.
Relax.
You can't do anything wrong.
Except
Anywhere
not hit the map.
inside the
except
map,
not hit the map.
we will be fine. Anywhere outside of the map will be doomed, but
Right.
that has never happened aboard this ship.
Is it straight ahead of me?
Yes.
Okay. Give me
I
the dart.
think that Tarina maybe wasn't here with you, but leans out from the galley like, "Did you tell him to not miss the map?"
Yeah.
Just
Wall-
like as you're ready to throw, like shouting from down the.
Wall has explained the seriousness.
Okay, here we go.
And as the dart hits the map, Sal goes, "Ah!"
Oh god! Did I miss
And-
the map?
And I have a little bulb of pine pitch that I spurt over on third.
Oh god! Oh.
We're turning
Why
over.
did you do that? Oh!
Doc is like,
Thanks,
"Sal,
Doc.
come here. Just sit down."
Right in the
Oh,
keel.
Rips off the blindfold. Oh, Sal, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry.
Doc's like, "You stay back. How could you do this?"
I didn't mean to. I thought I was supposed. You told me to throw the dart. You told me the map was straight ahead.
Wall starts running up. Take the cargo. You're responsible for us now.
And then I actually looked to see where the dart hit.
Yeah. Okay. Well, let's roll
So I
a
did
die.
roll.
Hold on. I'm gonna say 5, 6 is the queens.
Well, I got a 6.
Nice.
So.
Oh, okay. Well, then
yeah.
I don't have to continue the list.
Yeah,
There we
that's
go.
right.
All right. So
Pass it.
it lands on this sort of archipelago of small-ish islands. They're relatively small, like smaller than most of the Hawaiian islands, let's say, right? Like there's 7 of them, and let's say this: have any of you been to the Isle of the Seven Queens?
A long time ago, but it was different when Wall was there.
Okay. All right.
I think I've just heard about it from stories from different people.
Sure.
I don't think that I've been there since I've been sentient.
Okay. Yeah. So you have a vague memory
Right.
of Okay. They're known for they don't have any like heavy lumber or things like that they're exporting, but they do have some spices and things that they harvest. They have special like fish that are local to their region, and also special preparation techniques that people are interested in. It's also kind of like a fun destination that people go to for vacation, or like the wealthy will go and spend, like there's one of the isles. It's called the Isle of the Seven Queens, but it's 7 islands, right? So there's a big mix of things. It's a little country, right? So we are headed there, out to sea. That means, let's see, what was I going to... Oh, yeah. So as we are well out to sea, and let's say it's maybe 10 or 12 days, depending on how the winds go, and we're a week into it, I'm gonna have Lucky roll a die.
15.
Okay. Lucky, you hear it's a weird noise, and at first it's a little hard to identify, but then you're pretty clear it sounds like meowing. And there has not been a cat aboard. I mean, other than you.
I'm a person.
Yeah,
Thank
and-
you.
Well, some people are also cats. You also don't meow.
Speak for yourself.
Well, sure. But it's like a little echoey and faint, and you're like, is that from the front of the ship or the back of the ship? Like, it's a very weird noise.
It's in the vents.
Arjun,
Yeah. Yeah?
is that a ghost cat? Is there a ghost cat on this ship?
No, I think I'm the only ghost. For now. I don't know how you wanted to characterize Arjun, but here's
just
where
love
I'm
this
going
so
with
much.
it.
I just love it so much. Arjun being way too enthusiastic about people joining her in the spirit realm.
Yeah.
Yes. But it does mean if I ask somebody else if they heard a meowing.
Are you hearing meowing?
Yes.
She just makes a face.
Roll my eyes. It's like, look. They attached you to me to be helpful. Remember?
In what way can I be helpful to you right now?
Like, really think about it. It's like, no, you're right. Never mind. Like, walk away.
And she just sinks down through the hull of the ship into the ocean, probably. Like, I don't know.
It's like, go search out Sal.
Okay. Are you being the masthead right now?
Yeah, I think if we're just
Okay.
at sea.
So yeah, you head up to the fore of the ship, and Sal majestically. What is your pose? I guess you could change it.
I can, but currently it's sort of one
Superman.
hand up,
Yeah.
Nice.
not a full Superman, just one hand up and the
Yeah.
other one back against the hull of the ship,
Okay.
and then my feet are just flush with the
Kind of melded into the.
yeah.
Yeah.
on there.
Okay.
And Sal is not currently wearing any clothing
Sure.
because when Sal was part of the ship,
Yeah.
Sal doesn't see the need.
Clothes are for
I
nerds.
didn't even know
Right.
Sal wore clothing. I just imagined you were
Yeah.
just a wooden statue.
On occasion, like when
Yeah.
when it appears to be called for.
I love. I'm looking forward to hearing more about Sal's decision-making process of like, I should put on a vest. Like,
Yeah.
and
Not
here's why.
pants, just a vest.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Vest only.
His pants are the worst.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's when situations call for Sal to be invested.
Oh boy.
Mm.
Okay. I mean, I loved it. I'm pretending like I didn't, but
Right.
I know
I
I
know.
am. Okay, so,
So
yeah.
when we take you to try new foods, do you wear a scarf?
And only this.
Please take one ghost action point. There's no need to write anything down. All right, so you find
Action point for
Sal
Arjun.
at the front of the ship.
So, I heard a meow.
Yes.
Did you acquire a domestic cat?
I did.
When?
I mean, it would have been in Creek
right
Town. Yeah.
in Creektown. Her name is Portina. You're going to love her. She is she is a young calico cat, and
I would like to add one detail.
oh sure,
In that she's quite a bit larger. Like a calico is normally, what, like a 10-pound cat?
sure, yeah.
Yeah, so it's fine that she's young, but like as a young cat, she's 10 pounds.
So
Right.
she's
Chunky.
a calico Maine Coon.
Yeah. Like definitely tending towards the Maine Coon size of things. But it's clear that she's young, right? Because she's a little clumsy and her feet are big. And,
Right. Her feet and her ears are still a little big
Yeah.
for
Yeah.
for her frame.
Fun fact. Fun cat fact. You can't actually determine how big your cat is going to be by the size of their paws like you can with dogs.
Oh, that's fun. And it's always also not always true for dogs. We thought our dog was going to be like a 40-pound dog, and our vet did too, because of her long legs and big feet.
Mm-hmm.
No, she's a 25-pound dog with long legs and big feet at 5 years old. It's fine. It worked out because she's a very hyper personality, so I'm glad she's not 40 pounds.
Yeah. That would be a bit much.
A double Janet? I don't think.
Yeah, I'm glad. I'm
She
glad
would-
Salvador is the 6.5 pounds that he is.
He's so lanky.
Yes.
Yeah. But anyway, Salvador is a gorgeous cat. If you have a chance to see him.
Janet is already an animal style. I don't know. Janet would be animal style would be much better. In any case, I took on Portina because Danny was having a little problem keeping up with the rats.
Yes, domesticated cats are much better for that than
And
Human
I think that's a
people.
perfect moment for Danny to scream. and then we hear, and, a pounce and like, that's just below deck.
Right.
no. Apparently, Danny is also not a cat person.
Well, he was startled by a rat, and
Uh,
Portina got involved.
Is there a problem? I didn't mean to be insensitive.
no, just making sure. I'm
Oh,
gonna go.
I'm sorry. It is a ghost cat. Did I do that right?
You just hear invisible chuckling from Arjun. She's not bothered to manifest herself, but she was amused.
Not funny.
She likes everyone's jokes but yours, Lucky. It's her job to not like your jokes.
Perfect. I'm going to go meet the other feline. I mean the feline.
Now, I imagine cat people like today in the real world, we have humans and apes, right? We evolved from apes. Do you suppose that your cat people evolved from a cat sister? Cat sister?
I think it's a
I got it in
completely
one.
divergent line
Yeah.
that just happens to have a lot of the same characteristics.
Okay.
That it was like less so that we're actually cat people as much as like we have taken on some of these characteristics because at some point someone was like, this is hilarious.
Sure.
We can do what we want.
Yeah. Magic. Magic, baby.
Um
Or it's just a complete like merfolk and whatever, like is a completely different species that sort of looks a little like cats.
mhm.
Like, and people just call you cat people.
And I think it, like cat people is accurate because otherwise
Yeah.
I feel like it would be like a little derogatory.
Sure, that's
but,
true.
But it is more of like somewhere back in the day.
Yeah.
There was a magical situation that happened, and now you have cat people.
Sure. Well, you wanted to go and meet this cat,
I do.
it sounds like. So you do find this cat. Oh, no, I guess I should check tone warning. I was going to have the cat munching on rat. Is that too gross or?
I'm good with that.
Okay. I can get really gory, and I try to like preempt that to make sure it's okay. Always feel free to X card something. That's always on the table, or metaphorically speaking. That we actually had some X cards at one point.
The
Oh
cards.
yeah, that's
Some
right. We
X
do have.
cards.
Yes, we literally have X cards on our
Yeah.
table. So yes, the head has been set off to the side,
For later.
and yeah, and but you say she, right, Portina?
Yes.
Okay. Kind of freezes when you come in. You could hear like Danny's all the way like as far down the hall as he can be from this situation. And this is like the central hold, right? Like there's a couple barrels of something. What are they, Sal?
The barrels?
Yeah.
Salt fish.
Okay. Couple barrels of saltfish, couple crates, there's some gunpowder, there's, but it's not a full hold, and so there's plenty of room to move around down here. But the cat is kind of like behind one of the barrels and just looks at you and then does the freeze thing, like, they probably can't see me if I stay real still. But you said sort of calico.
If that's okay.
That's
all right.
that coloring is not good at sneaking. Yeah, I mean that's a pretty distinctive pattern. So, yeah, she just kind of freezes and looks at you. Now, I need you to roll a die for me.
Okay.
Roll for
15.
Oh, okay. So you recognize that this cat is unusual, right? It is mystically unusual. I'm including a component in our story that I love about wares, in that were creatures are creatures born to their animal species who eventually discover they can turn into humans and then figure out how to like fake being human. I've always liked that version of wares. And like maybe there's another version in this world too, but this cat has all the signs of being a werecat. And it's clear you don't know if she's ever changed, but she's also young. But you can tell, this is not a regular cat. Some of that bigger musculature and whatever. No idea what would happen if she changed right now, and I don't think there's a way to like make an animal aware like change. They usually kind of just figure it out at some point. But that was something I was going to hang on to for a little while, except you rolled a big old success right out the gate. So, Portina is chowing down on Rat. It stares at you, and there's something about like the way her eyes are set and the way you're like, hold on, we have these.
It's like,
I see.
and at that point, like my approach changes. It's like, okay, and I'm gonna sit like a little ways back and like take out like a small dagger and like reach into one of the barrels and take out a piece of salted fish. Start carving off little pieces.
Sure, but ostensibly ignoring the
Yes,
cat. I put air
yes.
quotes around that, listeners.
So I'm gonna be at that a bit.
This is
probably.
irresistible to cat.
I'm also gonna snack on some of the salted fish. Like it's like this is definitely just stuff I'm saving for later for me, but also the stuff I'm eating right now.
It doesn't take very long. That I think smells better than rat probably. I don't know how to judge that from a cat's point of view. But I think in a fairly sophisticated move, she like picks up the rat head, comes over and like kind of puts that in front of you, and then looks at the food that you're sort of like, do we have a deal? Like,
And I like so I'll take the rat head and slide the fish.
okay, yeah, and she just grabs like too much for her mouth and bolts behind the barrels. Deal. That's probably a good place to close that for now. So this is also a good spot if we just checking in whether we need a break tonight or how we want to handle that. Totally okay, or we can keep going.
I'm good to go.
Okay.
I can go either way.
Okay. Well, let's just power through. So the trip, I am actually going to randomize a little bit. Oh, okay. Sal, who is on the seas other than Rice Company who would recognize you, your ship, and you, you know, they would not just recognize that's one of those cool rise ships or whatever, but like that's Salamander, and have beef with you. Maybe somebody you ticked off in the early days of being you, or somebody you just ticked off because they were dickheads.
The ship's name is the Wave Rider,
Okay.
and it's the ironically named Captain Gallant.
Mm-hmm. The real dickhead?
Yep.
Okay. That's like literally his first name. It's like
Yes.
his mom named him Gallant.
Yes.
Like, yeah, this'll work.
Yeah, and his
Our-
brother Goofus.
The line is broken now. Okay, so you spot the Wave Rider. What feels like much too late. Like they're way too close for you to just now be spotting them, and they must have employed some kind of camouflage or something. But they turn and are sort of on a not collision course. What's that called? Like they're gonna
Intercept.
intercept. Thank you. They're on an intercept course, just out of cannon range. I mean, maybe if you had like a nat 20, you know, you could lob it. You could lob one in there, right? But it'd be just like dropping a bowling ball. Like you could do a little damage, but you know,
Just load wall into a cannon.
yeah. But that's how much notice you have, and that's weird because you should have seen them hours ago, right? So, what do you want to do?
I step down from the masthead and I get on deck and I call out to everyone.
Still full sails and everything, though, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
I call out to everyone. Steady on the port. The Wave Rider is approaching.
Wave Rider.
What's a wave rider?
Not friendly.
Oh no, Danny's like wilting. Oh no.
Wall
You're
goes to
breaking
the
his
armory.
concentration.
Wall goes to the armory, picks up a giant black tower shield that's way too heavy and impractical, but somehow it works.
The wheels on the bottom.
Yeah. 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 He's got a giant tower shield and a spear, and he's just on the top deck.
Okay.
Are we expecting combat?
Something strange is happening with the Wave Rider. I should have seen them from much farther away. And given their course, I don't think they're here to talk.
No, not a friendly charting, that is.
Does anyone want to do a more distinct, like, kind of scouting or perception type, or does anyone have a skill that they'd want to, any sort of like far-seeing ability or anything like that? I don't remember what everyone has, and I'm not going to.
Yeah, it's our job, right?
Yeah.
So I have an ability here called Navigate, and normally that is to make it so I can't get lost and I can find certain types of things. But I want to use that in the more general sense of, based on their course, can I have an idea of where they might have been coming from or heading to, or were they deliberately homing in on us? Like, is this a
Yeah.
fairly common trade route, or
Is that an action point skill?
here, I'll give you the card. It's
Okay.
not really for what I was doing here.
Oh yeah. That's fine. I'll just have you roll a die.
Okay.
That's great.
10.
Okay. Now that's a tough choice, but there isn't much of a tough choice here, so I'm going to give you imperfect information.
Okay.
All right. You can tell they are on intercept course with intent, right? You know, you can even see like some of the gun ports aren't totally. They're not open. They're trying to pretend like, oh yeah, the gun ports are closed. But they're like you're rattling.
They're
They could just
unlatched.
yeah, they're unlatched. They can pop them open at any moment. But it's really hard to tell. Like, I think you're like genuinely flummoxed, if I can put that on you a little bit, of like why couldn't I see them? It's freaking you out a little bit, right?
Sounds
Like,
great.
how could they just appear
Yeah.
almost within cannon range? That's terrifying.
Yeah.
Lucky, what are you up to?
No, first I'm gonna tell Portina to stay, find a safe spot,
Okay.
take this fish.
I think Portina spends a lot of time following Sal around, or like staring at them when Sal is the statue, in the figurehead.
Oh, that's like,
Portina's just like,
I realized that Sal is your person. Now is not the time.
okay. Portina kind of like sticks her tail up and like sachets down,
It's like,
down
yeah,
below
as
deck.
long as you do what I tell you to do.
Okay, but it was her idea,
Yeah.
not because you told her to.
Yeah. It's because she wants to.
Oh, the kids.
Yeah.
But yeah, but other than that, don't have to get ready. Stay ready.
Sure. You can hear Tarina battening down the galley. There's all kinds of stuff that she can put away to like make sure if things get rocky.
Wall would like to do a valiant soliloquy. It's a 2-point action for me. I think there's a call and response phrase that Wall calls out during potential battle, and it's something like, "We are gracious hosts, and our visitors are thirsty. What do we do?" And the crew calls back, "We show them the drink!"
Oh,
Like it.
definitely not force feed them their own blood then.
Yeah.
That's a type of drink.
In fairness, you only got it wrong once.
And that gives everyone, I believe, a free re-roll on their next roll.
Oh, sweet.
Ooh.
Okay. Awesome. The Swami, Danny, has come aboard with a cutlass that you knew he had with him, and he has used it a little. I think maybe Wall, you've been working with him a little. He is functional. He is less likely to stab himself than someone else.
He knows where to put the pointy
Yes,
end. Yeah.
He passed that 50% mark. Like, less likely to stab self. So not a total liability in a fight.
Walt is going to look towards third. Where is third? Is third up above deck or
I think
where
he's above deck trying to look at the ship and also trying not to panic.
Okay.
He's never been in this situation before.
Have you been trained in sword or spear?
I have a few tricks up my sleeve. My parents.
That doesn't
especially my
answer my
sister didn't.
question.
I was going to say my parents didn't train me to be completely defenseless. I know how to defend myself in situations.
If you mean to be on the top deck, you'll need to defend it, or you can find your way to the mid decks where the fighting will be different.
Different how?
Narrow spaces, more tricks, more hiding, more cunning.
That's more my style. Are we certain these people can't be reasoned with?
You're welcome to try.
I just very well might. I don't have the thirst for violence that my older sister does. You'd like her. Reminds me a lot of Lucky.
Walt's gonna pass you just a short sword.
Oh,
Don't worry, like I said, I have a trick up my sleeve.
one thing we were working to establish offline was our sort of technology level. Are we all comfortable with like flintlock style firearms, or would we rather have none firearms in our storyline?
I'm okay with
Yeah, I
some.
think we were all.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love the flintlock.
Okay,
level.
great. I find them not too offensive because they're not rapid fire and
Yeah,
that's-
not like rapids of
yeah.
like
There's a lot of that shit.
dueling pistols.
I don't need that in my pretend world.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But if we're all comfortable with that, that's great.
And thank you for asking.
So the let's see. As they're coming close, let's see. No, what's Lucky doing at this point? You sent Portina downstairs.
I sent Portina downstairs, and I'm kind of like towards one of the cannons that would be.
So you'd be below deck to.
Oh, you're right.
Yeah.
Cannons aren't actually mounted on the deck.
I mean, ours can be if that's what we. I was picturing them in the side of the ship, because that's what was in my head. But they could be deck mounted.
I think I will. Like, especially if third is going below,
You can just drag me, take me with you.
I can
Come
be
on,
like-
third, we're
Yeah.
going there.
I can be like, oh, Good. Another person for the cannons.
Yeah, there you go.
I don't know how to fire a cannon. Well, you're going to learn.
I mean, you put the ball in. There's a
Yep.
and then you light the fire.
I can do that.
Yep. When you get down there, Doc has scooched her comfy chair up to the other cannon, and
Yeah.
the cannon is like tipped up, and she's
Yep.
like, hunk, like
Yep.
put it in there. She's still in her chair and like kicks the cannon down, and has
Love
her
it.
cigar like ready to go.
Love Doc.
And you can still hear a lot of clanking in the galley, where Tarina's trying to make sure everything doesn't go complete to hell. But Danny's up on deck. Salamander, you're up top. Well, you're everywhere. But
But the bipedal part is
Yeah.
on deck, and Sal has grabbed the giant harpoon that Sal uses in fights.
okay, cool. All right. So as the ship approaches, I think those below decks is a little hard to see. For you up top, there's somebody in the crow's nest, and you realize they are lining up a rifle shot.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So that's gonna go a little bit further, more accurate than a cannon. It's just a kind of a good opening salvo. But it's only the one. While you could probably track it, and make sure you're in the right spot
Yep.
if that's what
Yep.
you'd like to do.
Yep.
Okay. Then I'm gonna roll. And that's a success.
Have I healed at all from my
Oh yeah,
caltrops?
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Clear all that damage.
Okay.
Um,
It's been
Since
infected.
the caltrop incident,
It's still buried in my foot.
we both lied to we came up with a story to tell Doc about how that happened,
Yeah.
but it was not the truth.
Yeah.
let's see. Common weapons do 2 damage. Yeah, I'm not gonna
Okay.
roll for that. It's a long range, ball and shot. So,
Okay.
yeah, just pangs off your shield, and it's enough.
Yeah.
That you're like, whoa,
Yeah.
okay, I'm in it. I'm awake.
Yep.
At that point, that crosses the threshold where we're within cannon range. All right. So, cannons. Lucky. Third. I think the 2 of you are sharing a cannon. It seems like.
Mhm.
Oh.
What's that? Oh,
Can't put somebody alone on a cannon their first time.
Yeah,
yeah.
that's dangerous.
That's
Fun
how you
to
blow up
think
the ship.
My first cannon.
And Doc just kind of looks to you, Lucky, of like, she's ready to light this when, it's your call.
I mean, if we're in range,
Yep.
and if we're in rifle range, we're in cannon range.
Well, the rifle could go a little further, but yeah, that's they open up with that. Their cannon ports flip open. They have 3 to a side. It's a slightly longer ship, but they're also below deck. So,
I don't want to explode.
what could go wrong? All right, so I'm gonna have there isn't really a system built in for this. So third,
Uh-huh.
I'm gonna have you make an assist roll
Okay,
and see how helpful you're being.
that is an 8.
You have a free reroll from my soliloquy.
Oh yeah,
That sounds like a great time
Yep.
to give it a shot.
Show them the drink.
That was better. That's a 12.
okay. That's a success. So I'm gonna give you a +1, I guess. That's not really in this game. They don't have that. Let's do advantage disadvantage rather than pluses and minuses.
Okay. 18.
Okay.
Nice.
Yeah. So you set it off. You signaled the dock. Both of you fire just the right time. I'm gonna have you roll. I don't know. I forget what do some of you have on damage rolls for your like cool powers?
I don't have
It doesn't
damage.
really
Mine
list.
are all flat
Yeah.
damage.
Yeah.
Oh,
And
okay.
mine are effects rather than additional.
Yeah, and I think that cannons really we don't really care about the ship's hit points, so I'm not gonna worry about that. But I'm gonna say you'll take out one of their cannons, like it's just like crushed and somebody's "Wah!" like falls out the side of the ship.
Wilhelm
and-
scream.
Yep, obviously.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
So they're down one sailor as well. The cannon doesn't fall out, but it's pretty useless
Yeah.
at this point. So,
Aha,
Try it.
We
see
got
if you
them.
Explode.
yeah.
Well done, Lucky.
And
Good job. You'll be manning one of these yourself in no time.
they're gonna do a salvo. Oh, and I'm gonna have them roll with disadvantage because of your very successful attack. This is their cannon shot.
Whoa.
That nat 20 is negated because they have disadvantage,
Nice.
but they did get a 14.
Nice.
So,
Motherfuckers.
that was. Oh, I felt like flush. I'm like, oh my.
So episode 1 also
Yeah.
will be
New
followed
characters.
by new characters.
I
And that was the tale of the Salamander.
this is held up at my home games, and it is held up on stream. When I'm running a game, I roll like an absolute banshee. Like, just
Banshee is so accurate too.
yeah.
Mm.
I just whoop ass on rolls as the GM, which is inappropriate. And as a player, I'm just like, yay, I didn't do it. Which is why I like PBTA games so much, because something always
Yeah.
happens.
Yeah.
And actually, this success band is pretty fun too. But anyway, their remaining 2 cannons do go off. They do some damage. And I think for the 2 of you, like, Doc gets kind of blasted back from the impact, right? She's not like hit with a cannonball, right? But there's like crash, and there's a lot going on in there. You're like, oh crap. So when we come back, you're gonna have to decide, like, are we dealing with Doc? Are we taking another shot? Or maybe people are coming in at this point, but that's where we'll come back to your scene. Okay? Up on deck,
Mm-hmm.
the ships get close enough, and about half a dozen of the sailors run up to the side of their ship, and you're like, that's way too far.
Mm-hmm.
You can't. And somebody on their ship is doing some kind of incantation, and is just going, boom,
They're launching them.
boom, and just doing this like jump spell,
Yeah.
basically, right?
Mm.
And they come sailing over onto the deck. I'm gonna roll for that. It's a tricky maneuver, and they're trying to get an advantage by getting on board first.
That's cute.
That's a 10. That's a tough choice. I'm gonna send one of them long. One of them went too far, and
Get in the range.
yeah, and so there's just a splash on the other side of the ship, and the 5 of them land and are and they're like not asking questions. They're just like going for it. So
Do these look like sailors from their ship, or are they mercenaries hired from another band?
Ooh, that's a good question.
I'm gonna ask you to roll for that
Okay.
information. It's not your turn, but
Yeah.
it's a
Just a
quick
spot.
moment, and
10. So tough choice.
hmm.
Well, I have a reroll.
Oh yeah. We'll keep the
Oh, we'll
10.
keep the 10.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, tough choice. I'm gonna say you can get this information and get disadvantage on your attack this round, or just go ahead with normal and figure it out later.
I'll ask them when they wake up.
Okay. So do you want to take our first attack? We don't really have initiative
Yeah.
here.
So they've started boarding. Okay. I'm gonna bull rush with my shield and knock someone into the drink.
Oh, I love it. I love it. Is that an action that you have, or
No, this is just a straight up attack
Okay.
for now.
I love it. Let's
Yeah.
do it.
Or actually, let me check because I have wild attack. Yeah, I'm gonna go with the wild attack. You attack with reckless power, disregarding your safety. Describe a signature style for this attack and what it looks like when you make it. So it's me raising my black tower shield and my spear poking out from the side, and then I'm just a train coming at
Yeah, I love it.
and that is a 6. I deal double damage to the enemy, but they counterattack me.
Oh, okay. Does it say what the damage is?
It looks like just standard damage.
Okay, so that's normally 2, so you do
I do 4 to them, and they get a chance to attack me.
Okay, so these are goons. They don't get 10 health, right? So you did 4 damage.
Nice.
You just run this guy through, and then boop him off of your shield,
Yep.
off of your spear,
Yep.
right? You just skewer and then toss him off the ship, like gone.
Drink deep.
But you were a little over leveraged,
Yeah,
right? And this
yeah.
guy's getting you from the side.
Okay.
Does it say I make an attack?
You make an attack, and if you fail, I get to counterattack.
Oh,
That's-
fun.
yeah.
Okay. Well, that's a 19.
Okay.
Okay.
Take
It's 2 damage. Okay, Sal. After you go, I'm gonna also roll attacks for bad guys.
Okay.
So that's just how I'm running that. What do you want to do?
Okay. How many people are on the ship?
4 now.
Okay, there are
One
4,
one went long, one was skewered, and there are 4 left.
and there are
yeah.
4 left.
But
Okay.
there are also more people aboard the other ship, but that's who's on
But that's
deck.
about to not be a problem.
Okay.
I'm hoping. I will slam my harpoon into the deck, and with my other hand raise and call the winds, which begin to like come down, blow, and it's a very hot, like a sirocco.
Oh yeah.
Instead of the cooler salt mist that we've all been experiencing. And I whip them around my hand, and I point at the sails on the other ship, and I release burn, which
Well,
is
careful, you might catch them on fire.
that would not be so good, would it? The flame goes out. This is a 1 point AP, and you ignite the target in flames, and hitting it for 2 damage and setting it ablaze.
Okay. Does it say you need to roll anything with your action point or?
Nope.
Okay.
Just as I do it. So
Cool.
I'm setting their sails on fire,
Yeah.
so that we can continue to get away while they fall
Yeah.
further behind.
The ship immediately loses speed, as you know, they don't burn up in an instant, but
Sure.
you know, certainly like ropes are snapping free and sails are on fire. I think they're also
And they're a little
three-mast.
distracted.
Yeah. Yeah, their mage is like, oh shit, like trying to do something about that. And I'm gonna go ahead and take a bad guy turn. So I'm just gonna do a couple guys on Wall and a couple guys attacking the avatar of Salamander.
Mhm.
So Wall,
Mm-hmm.
these 2 guys come at you. Oh, with an 18 and an 8. So let's make that.
An 8, why counterattack one of them, but the one
Oh,
that hits. Will
okay.
hit.
Yeah. Okay. So take 2 damage
Okay.
from the 18, and let's have your counterattack.
I rolled a flat 1.
Oh no.
Oh no.
Okay. Rather than make it extra damage, it says catastrophe is what that's supposed to be. The severe setback, I think they jar your shield arm so bad
Mm-hmm.
that you dropped your shield,
Okay.
right? And it
Okay.
just like clunks and your hand is dead,
Yeah.
right? Like,
Yeah.
no, it's forever.
Yeah, but it's yeah.
Just thoroughly stunned. Yeah, that's not great. And for Salamander, wow. Okay, this blue die is very rude. One of them is a complete miss. The other one is a 19.
Okay.
So you take 2 damage. What does that look like for Sal getting hit?
What sort of weapon is it?
I think these guys are probably cutlass, slashing type weapons rather than rapiers. So yeah, cutlass or what's that other curvy
Scimitar?
scimitar? Yeah, those types of weapons.
Okay. I think that it chunks into Sal's arm,
Mm-hmm.
and chunks a chip.
Yeah.
Out of it.
Okay, but there isn't like sap flowing or.
I don't think so.
Okay.
No.
Being a ship, Sal could also have tar in his veins, if he wanted it. You didn't have to do that. I'm just saying, like, there are a lot of things that it could be because you're not really a tree.
Right.
You're kind of a post tree.
No, I like tar. I think that's neat. I
Okay.
think it's very thematic and
Okay.
for this genre.
Cool.
Yeah. So chunks into Sal's arm, and black tar starts to ooze out from the wound onto the blade and their hand.
Okay. The last action I'm going to take is you two downstairs hear this like splashing slop as the guy who overshot pulls himself up through the opposite cannon port into this, mess, because it also got blasted a little bit, and uses his action to kind of grab Doc, or because Doc was splayed out and like not in best form at the moment, doesn't have Cigar anywhere within reach, and kind of pulls her up as a shield, and he has a kind of a long sword, and he's like threatening you to drop your weapons and unload the cannons and all that, or he's gonna stab Doc, and she's a little dazed. That's trying to figure out what's going on. So
I'm just gonna give Lucky a look of like, I got this. I say, what? No, my friend, no, let's not be hasty. You wouldn't want to do anything you regret, and I will cast Mesmerize on them as well.
okay,
So that's 1 AP. And it's the same spell as before, so they're basically just kind of dazzled by some lights.
as long as no one attacks him.
Yes, as long as no one attacks them.
Okay. Is there like a visual aspect of like everyone can see his got sparkles in his eyes, or
yeah, it's any kind of optical illusion.
yeah, okay.
So I'm gonna say like like a sparkler.
Yeah.
Like, ooh, it's all just kind of sparkling everywhere.
So it's
just
clear
kind of
that he's
dazzled
been
kind of
memorized.
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Mesmerized.
Would this be? I feel like that might give me an opening to make a sneak attack on him.
But let's get
Sorry.
let's get Doc out of the way first.
But
Well, yeah. So that we'll go back to the sort of top of the round. We'll say that's third started off our new round. This guy is holding Doc, but is dazzled. Doesn't have a clear idea what's going on around him. It's not. It doesn't mess with their mind, right? It's just sensory overload.
Let's see. This is, you dazzle a nearby commoner or minion with an optical illusion. The creature must be able to see. Until you leave the area, the creature cannot move, take actions, or respond to conversation. The spell ends if the creature is harmed. So we can flavor it however you want.
Yeah, well, it can't even respond to conversation means
Yeah.
pretty well obscured.
Yes,
So,
it is a spell. It is magic.
yeah. So
Can we hear like a hurdy-gurdy version of Blinded by the Light, and he's just on a trip right now?
yes.
Everything's merging.
Yeah, from his point of view,
down.
he's like walking through
Yeah.
the mirror multiverse.
Yeah.
And then, but he I think reactively he still has a hold of Doc. He just is not likely to stab her.
Yeah.
But it's just a minor complication. So
I'll explain to Lucky. Right now he's not going to be moved as long as my spell is up. So let's try to move Doc away from him, and then you can stab him as much as you please. So I'm going to try to help gently move his hand and try to move Doc away from him.
okay. I think you're gonna need some help. Well, you know what? I'm gonna say Tarina comes to help you move Doc. And you start to drag her
Yeah,
away.
we're just doing it gently.
And actually Doc is not knocked out, right? So she's also trying to like help this moment, but
He just needs to duck under his
It's
arm,
like-
basically.
I feel like while all of this is going on, just because the way this move works, I'm going to spend an AP to incapacitate this guy by touching one of their pressure points.
oh yeah,
Mm,
And he's going to fall to the ground unconscious for the next 10 minutes.
easy, yeah.
So it's just
It doesn't
like,
have a die roll, right?
No, I just spend one AP
Great.
to do it.
Yeah, I love that.
So normally they would have to attack a creature other than me, but I guess like because their focus is
That's fine. It's incapacitated. Yeah.
so yeah, it's just like, well, y'all are like, oh, maybe if we, and I'm just gonna go in and like stick my thumb like
Yeah.
directly underneath their ear on their neck.
yeah.
Yeah.
Nerve pinch.
Impressive.
Yeah. And he just collapses, right? He's, somebody cut the strings
The
and
marionette goes down.
yeah.
Third looks very impressed and then says, "We should probably tie him up."
Yes.
So the ship across the way, also their mage has to use his action. He's let's roll for this.
Ooh.
That's a 1.
He fans the flames.
So
Trying to put them out, and whoosh.
you could see he's pulling this arc of water up from the ocean to try to hit the sails, and
Hits himself directly in the face.
It capsizes the ship.
I think what happens is he does pull up this enormous amount of water, but it just falls short and just boom, just splashes all over the deck, washes some people overboard. He doesn't manage to go overboard because it's never that guy.
Yeah.
Right? It's
No.
but yeah, I think that's a good moment for them. So yeah, their ship is in pretty bad shape. Not a ton of people. I mean, yeah, it really depends on how you want to handle the
What's
situation
Danny
at this
doing?
point. What's that?
What's Danny doing?
Well, Danny's on board with these two. I guess he should make an attack on the bad guys.
Or he can run away.
That's another one.
He runs away like a coward.
I think he does injure himself. He was so close.
This was the 49, not
Yeah.
the 51.
Yep. He was so close to not injuring himself. And, just tries to get into a sword fight and has like a second of like, I'm doing it.
He tries to flourish, and that's where he fucks up.
Yeah, like he cuts his own arm.
Yeah.
Right. The other guy just backs away like, I don't have to deal with this. So I think we have 2 guys left on the deck,
Think so.
right? Of all those who jumped over.
Yeah. Because
There were 4. I didn't take any out.
Oh yeah, I guess we haven't really removed a lot of them.
Right, I was busy taking care of the ship, so more didn't come over.
Right. And
I took out at least 1 or 2.
Well, so you had 5.
Yeah.
You took out 1.
you speared one of them off the
Speared one.
side.
Oh, they were attacking me,
then-
and then I got hit a bunch.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah.
That's
okay.
what happened.
So yeah, there's 2 for you, 2 for
Yeah, cool.
Salamander. And I think Danny was trying to get involved with the 2. You know, he sees you
Yeah.
drop your shield. It's like,
Right.
I got you all. And, it's just a mess.
Mhm.
So,
And he tried to help Wall, but he bricked it.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. All right, so ostensibly top of the round on deck. What are we doing up here?
I'm gonna spend a AP and overpower somebody.
Okay, you got a couple of people to choose from.
Yeah. Whoever's close by to me, I'm not gonna lift my shield because my arm is stunned, and I'm just going to not drop my spear, but holster it to my back. Just walk right up to the closest guy, hoist them by the collar, and overboard.
Okay, is that a die roll?
That is I spend an AP.
All
and
right.
I describe how I overpower them. Are the ships close enough where I can throw the guy onto their ship?
No, their ship has lost a lot of speed and
Okay.
it's no longer directly going to intercept.
Okay.
They're really in disarray over there.
Okay.
The masts are on fire. The sails are burning. They're in bad shape. And they also just washed off a lot of the people who were trying to put the fires out.
Tell the Kraken Wall sent you.
Yep, he goes in the drink. Salamander?
I will glare at the person who hit me
Mm-hmm.
and focus on them, and I'm actually going to drop the harpoon off to the side and use that hand, which is bleeding black tar,
Mm.
and grab onto them and choke and focus the winds in freeze,
Oh.
which is 2 AP. You freeze a nearby commoner, minion, or object, encasing it in ice until
is a
you leave
minion.
the scene.
Yeah.
If you freeze a creature, it cannot move or act. The ice shatters if the creature is free, and the creature is freed if it takes any damage while frozen.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. The ice forms, there's like a little bit sticking out at the back, because it just came right out of your hand. And yeah, this one of the 2 who's fighting you is just frozen in place. I think the other guy too is like, what?
Right. One is literally frozen, the other is figuratively
Yeah.
frozen. And I will spin to that one and I will say, if you're cold enough to come onto my ship, you're cold enough to deal with the consequences.
Okay.
I'm sorry, if you're bold enough to come onto my
There
ship.
we go. Yep, that was it. Roll a die for me. There won't be a catastrophic possibility, but
12.
12? Okay.
12 is in a success.
Yeah. Yeah, your intimidation check is successful, and yeah, I mean that's a full success. I think this guy just dives off the side of the ship, the other one, and that leaves just the one who is looking, staring down a wall, who's just thrown somebody off, and I think that guy also just like drops his cutlass and dives off the side.
Good choice, lad.
So. They're overboard. Don't know what's going to happen to them, but sharks are not uncommon, and various other meat eaters in the sea. And there's blood in the water. So we don't know what's going to happen. And I don't know if any of you have traveled this particular stretch of the ocean. A whole bunch, right? Like I think the Isle of the Seven Queens is a little out of the way. And you, there's kind of a strait, like a strait is actually through. It's like a channel through land, which is not what I'm talking about. But there's like a current, right? You've caught a section of the ocean that's a particular current that is great for bringing people to the Isle of the Seven Queens. And you have to get out a different way or go up current or deal with that in some way. So anyway, this is somewhat unfamiliar waters. What's happening downstairs?
We have a foe tied up.
Yep.
Do you want to go assist the others up above? I keep an eye on this one. Sounds good.
And
Keep your wits about you.
he's supposed to be out for at least 10 minutes, right? With your
He will
nerve
be out
strike?
for 10 minutes.
Okay.
So that's enough time to tie him up.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. And Doc is kind of pulling herself together. She's got her flask out and is, doing what she needs to do. She's not like a magical healer, right? She's literally a doctor for this technology era. So there's a lot of questionable medicine to be performed. But
Leeches and sawbones.
yeah, exactly.
Jason, can I use the last little bit of my cold to freeze the tar so I'm not dripping anymore?
Yeah,
Harden it?
sure. Yeah, I don't have a problem with that.
Okay. I didn't think you would, but I wanted to get that out there because I
Yeah.
thought it sounded cool.
Yeah. Yeah, targets. I mean, you barely even have to freeze it. It just gets like real stubborn when it's cold. So, no problem. I am gonna say, now we haven't talked a lot about Salamander's kind of like physical nerve response. Like obviously he can feel things and touch things and
They
feel when
can feel
they.
things.
Thank you. I keep missing that.
That's okay. We'll get it.
They know when they're being touched or punched or whatever. But I don't know if any of it would translate to what we would think of as pain.
I don't think so. I think that Sal feels things more like vibration,
Yeah.
like the way a ship would.
Yeah.
That there isn't a pain. So like a chunk goes out of Sal's arm. I don't think Sal doesn't feel pain the same way, but feels the loss.
Yeah.
Like feels that it's missing the same way that Sal is currently aware of that there's, shot that happened along the side of
Yeah,
the ship
yeah.
and that is also, aware of
Okay.
that.
So I want to add in freezing the tar is the first time Salamander has felt a twinge of something like pain.
Okay.
Of like, well, okay, that's good. We're stopping it. Like you see people stop the bleeding, right? Like that's the thing you've seen your friends have to do.
Right.
But I think that like having that cold like leach into what's essentially your blood
Right.
is Salamander's first like, oh, That's
I do not like this.
this is what pain
I,
is.
I don't like this.
Is this forever?
Yeah. Is this what pain feels like? So I just want to toss that.
Cool. No, I love it.
But yeah, your ship is sailing on. That ship is kind of grinding to a halt. It's really up to you. We can just carry on and not think about them again. Could probably circle around and deal with them further. It's totally up to y'all. Now, I think you two can probably both come up top if you want. Like once this guy's tied up, Tarina and Doc can take care of it. Danny has come downstairs to get stitched up.
Dude,
And he's it was
I'm sure you were very brave to take that hit from our enemy.
yep.
Very
He
brave.
does not correct you.
Yeah.
I have one to question.
I have one. We have
We
one
have
to
one
question downstairs as
We're all
well.
tied up.
We should probably question them separately for verification purposes.
Compare stories, yes.
Do you reckon their captain is open to parlay now?
I'd like to find out what they know first, and then use that information or leave them to flounder.
As you wish.
All right.
So
And-
either way, we should pull out of the current so we're not exponentially getting further away
Yeah.
from their ship then.
Yeah, you can kind of pull off to the side, or at least just drift. They're drifting as well at this point, right?
Right.
But they're not under power. And
I
so
turn on the hazards. and
Yeah.
we-
pull over to the shoulder. Yeah. But yeah, you can kind of just coast, and they're basically coasting as well, but they are like a little sideways, and
They're
there's a
taking
lot.
on water probably.
Yeah, and there's people running around with like there's water where there shouldn't be, and no water where there needs to
Yeah.
be. You know, there's a lot going wrong over there. So you definitely they are not an immediate threat, and you've put them maybe like 50 yards off so that you can see them, you know what's up, but you also have your prisoners. So how do we want to handle this?
I'm going to tap on the frozen one to break the spell.
Okay.
A fairly substantial tap
Sure.
on the forehead.
Yeah. And he like drops back, you know, because his muscles are limp, and he's Parlay.
Yeah, I'll pick him up by his shirt, like wall style,
Uh-huh.
and bring him up to my eye level, and say, "Why are you attacking? Why are you attacking me?
The captain's orders.
What does the captain want from this? What does Gallant want?" And I give a little shake.
Yeah, I mean, you say Gallant, and his eyes go a little wide of like, oh, wow, I wasn't going to tell you it was Captain Gallant, but like, you know, it's pretty clear that you know something, and that intimidates him. No, sorry, the GM. What was the question again?
What does Gallant want?
Well, he wants the ship. We were supposed to do as little damage as possible.
So you fire cannons.
They were just grape shot.
Wall's just gonna look over at Sal, and kind of the vibe is, I'm gonna let you do this, and I'm just gonna back you. Because if Wall's talking right now, this would be a different conversation.
Right. I'm looking. I'm going to turn to everyone on deck and say, I wasn't expecting such a frank answer.
Sorry, I think I'm gonna sneeze. One second. Don't sneeze.
Just
So, we should probably talk and cover up some of that noise.
Okay.
I was just gonna say we'll fix it in
I
post.
refuse. I refuse to sneeze, and I did not.
Um, do you think we've disabused Gallant of the notion? If we finish his pursuit in a final way, it just means someone we don't know will be after us.
I'd like to know why Gallant has his sails set for us in the first place.
And where he got a mage of that caliber.
And how it was that they were able to be in range without our knowing.
Corin's Gallant's lover, the mage, they're together. What were the other questions?
Have you a name, son?
I sure do.
Take your time.
I'm trying to remember it.
Moments like this tax the soul, I'm aware. Just give us your name when you're ready. We shall wait patiently.
Cotil.
Cotil.
Just Cotil.
How much
Should've
trust
stuck to
and
making corsets like the rest of your family.
They are very successful, and I should have done that.
how much trust do you feel? How much loyalty do you feel to your captain right now?
Almost none.
As I suspected.
In fact, if you all need a trusty hand, I'm good in a sword fight. I didn't really get a chance.
You turned tail quite quickly against your captain.
I'm. He kind of just gestures at the threat that he's under.
I know, and that's the arm that has the
Yeah.
the tar
Yeah.
on it.
I do the job I was hired for.
How did the Wave Rider get so close?
There was a charm. I forget what they called it. A charm, but you can't look at it sideways. I didn't understand, but it worked. We could see you for ages, hours. We've been following.
And it's powerful illusion work.
We need to figure out some way to break the charm.
You say the mage is responsible for this trickery.
He worked it into the hull somehow, ahead of time.
Into the hull.
The fore or aft?
I didn't see it. I just know that's what they talked about.
You're going to allow my friend to tie you up.
Mm-hmm.
Do not move,
No,
or I'll freeze you again.
I understand. That was horrible, and I don't want to do that again. I was awake the whole time.
I nod.
And he kind of just like scoots over to the mast, like puts his hands behind, like, well, somebody should tie me up.
Third?
I'm on it. I'll make small talk with him too. Well, like,
Yeah.
Also, where are you from? How'd you get into the seafaring mercenary work?
It almost Cotel is like 40% into a flirt with Third. Like, I don't know if that's Third's type, but like Cotel is like, I don't know what my chances are, but maybe I work here now.
Maybe you can show me around.
Yeah.
It's like
How many rings?
How are the benefits? You like working here?
That one, read the room.
3%.
But do you have dental?
What you want to know?
How many rings?
Let me see.
I love how we just default to that to like, oh, how experienced are they? How many rings?
4.
Okay. So they're
on,
a solid hand.
on the right forearm, which is kind of the most traditional where you get started, and then if once you get like 8 or 10 on your right arm, then you can get a little bit more creative with
Yeah,
where
they
you
get
put
more
them.
decorative.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
This
what
one's
we're
not
looking at.
without his salt.
Should we see what his friend has to say?
Yes.
Yes, maybe that one saw where the charm was.
I just hope your friend is as friendly as you.
Mhm. Who do you have?
Danny? Hold this knife.
Oh, Danny's downstairs. Already.
Oh, Danny's still downstairs. Okay, never mind.
He's getting his cut tended
Right,
too.
right. Okay,
He's got an ouchie.
okay.
He went to go see his mom.
I mean, he did take 2 harm, and he's not a hero.
Yeah,
So
it's true.
And his mom just got dazed
Yeah.
too. I mean,
Yeah.
like,
they're having a day.
I'll stay with them. You guys are all more intimidating anyway.
Okay.
If he causes you any trouble, I don't mind cleaning the deck.
Understood.
Do you mean you won't mind having Danny clear the deck?
Well, that goes without saying.
There's a little. Sal gives you a little shrug.
Danny is the swabby.
Potato, potato. Does Third have like a sword or a gun or anything on this guy, or like what's your stance?
No, I told you about the hidden weapon. that
Oh,
I got,
okay.
So I'll pull that out when the time is right.
Okay, this is a secret. All right.
Secret little weapon.
But there are like you could like grab up a cutlass
Sure.
or something that's sitting around now.
Yeah, I'll just do that and just kind of hang on to it.
Okay.
Guess
Yeah.
I'm holding this guy prisoner. Really hope I don't have to kill him. Killed anyone.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if
He
I'm
is-
kidnapped and now I'm holding a prisoner.
Yeah,
This is the weirdest
and
thing ever.
Hotel is like trying to engage you in conversation. He's doing the thing where like, if I make my captors like me, you know, like,
I'm a person.
yeah,
Yes, and he'll probably just talk with him anyway.
Yeah.
'Cause, you know,
Yeah.
it's a fresh face to talk to. How lovely.
yeah.
While they head down, Wall's gonna take a moment just to check over the tattoos, see if any of these are mercenaries or these are actually just part of the other ship.
Yeah, you know, most mercenaries for hire are pretty prominent. Like they
Yeah.
show
Right.
the mercenary company, right?
Right.
You don't really see anything
Okay.
on Kojo.
Okay.
That is, you know, he's got his 4 rings as a sailor.
Mm.
Probably gonna get his 5th this season,
Okay.
and
Oh, primarily the other people, like the ones that we killed on deck.
oh yeah. Well, one of them you threw off. I think everyone else was thrown off the deck, actually. Skewered off, thrown
Okay.
off. You threw one off.
Well, they jumped off.
Oh, that's right. They jumped off. Yes. They
Okay.
Yeah, there isn't anyone
Okay,
else
that's
on
fine.
the deck.
That's
yeah.
fine.
We
But
scared the poop deck out of him.
oh boy.
But nothing obvious caught my eye then. Nothing like obtrusively obvious.
No,
caught my eye.
it's
Okay.
all pretty, and even in the middle of the fight, you're so battle hardened, right?
Yeah.
Like you had a good idea of what was going on around you. They caught you off guard and got a lucky strike.
Yeah.
You know, but they had sailor markings. None of them are
Okay.
first years. You know, they're all 4 to 6 year
Right.
sailors,
Okay.
and didn't look like mercenary company of any
Yeah.
kind.
Okay.
They were experienced sword fighters, and you know, not terrible,
Mm.
but
Yeah.
you know.
Okay.
All right, so below deck, are you going downstairs
Yeah,
with everyone
Yeah,
too?
that's
Okay.
all I wanted.
And yeah, we have Doc is kind of tending her own wound, and you could see Tarina is heating up like the flat of a knife for Danny's cut. Right? She's just gonna not solder,
Cauterize.
cauterize. She's gonna solder his arm.
I've just got this little bit. I'm like, let me heat up these little droplets.
Yeah.
It's just hot lead. Don't worry.
It's just mercury.
Yeah. Sorry. Vocab brain did a funny thing to me. So yeah, they're getting ready to cauterize his wound. Because Doc is a little out of it to do stitches on. Like she's stitching herself, but you know, she's making choices. So.
Is Danny the same percentage of myrrh, or is Danny less or more?
It's hard to tell.
Okay.
They're you know, they both have the finned ears and that light green blue coloring. It's a little mottled. You know, it's not totally even. And they both have gills, so hard to know.
Okay.
And there's also family resemblance of just facially, the face structure, they look related. So, okay, so it's your scene. So Danny is sitting at the end of the galley, keeping an eye on the guy who's tied up. You know, Tarina's like kind of poking her head out of the kitchen, like, okay, knows what's going on, and she just continues like heating up the knife over open flame, I guess. Yeah, I mean, how else do you cook?
It's magic. Heat rocks.
Yeah, that's right. So yeah, she's heating up this to cauterize the wound. Sorry. And Doc is kind of dealing with her own wounds, and this guy is tied up, kind of watching, or yeah, I guess he's probably coming to, you know, starting to stir a little bit. It's probably been in 10 minutes or so.
Lucky, do you wish to do the honors? They know you.
There's no honor here. But I do like pick him up, shake him a little bit.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Rise and shine, princess.
Oh. Okay, now hold on. What was this guy's state? He got thrown over the ship, landed in the water, crawled back in, mesmerized.
Pressure pointed.
Pressure point.
Mm-hmm.
He's not really in combat. Okay, so he's not like bloody or
No.
anything. He's just wet.
Yeah.
He's soaking wet and
Coming off of
dizzy. Yeah, he's a little dizzy from one being mesmerized and then like knockout pressure point is like
Headache, yeah.
yeah.
And the vertigo of being flung over a ship.
Yeah,
Whoa.
yeah. So so yeah, I think he does like he wakes up, you pick him up and he's kind of like dead weight and like he really wants to sit down because he's so wobbly. So it's up to you. You could hold him up if you want, but
That's
you're gonna
like
have to.
so much more effort than I'm willing to expend
Okay,
on him.
so you just let him sit back down. Yeah.
I drop him like
Boom. Yeah.
like a 10-pound stack of racks.
Yep. Yeah, he thumps onto the floor and just looks dazed. His pupils are dilated, you know. He's just kind of looking around at everyone as Parlay.
I have just answer a question for me.
Yeah.
Where did Courant put the charm on the Wayfarer?
It's the what?
Snap. Like just
Roll a die for me. We need to put a little fear into it.
8.
Okay. Tough choice. Interesting. The tough choice is we can deal with the fact that he's kind of ignoring you, like not on purpose, or you're gonna have to get in his face, and you're gonna get a lot of his like breath and just general odor. And we'd already talked about your extra sensitive olfactory system.
Mm-hmm.
So that's your tough choice. You know, if you get down in his face, he will see you and your threats will be a lot more effective.
I guess we're doing this the hard way.
Mm-hmm. So you kind of
Like,
squat
take
down?
a breath,
or-
take a breath, and then squat down.
Yep. Grab him and...
At least the sea gave him a bath before it came up.
The Corin's charm. Oh, it's under the cargo. It's midship.
Fantastic.
It's a sideways charm.
Sideways charm. Who paid Gallant to attack us?
As far as I know, nobody. He wants the ship.
He can't handle the ship. Sorry. Oh. Well. No, I can't do it anymore. It stands back up.
Yeah. Because he coughs and like,
Yeah, and at that point, it's just like,
yeah.
nope.
When he says he wants the ship, I'm going to loom over. I'm not kneeling down at all. I'm just going to get really close.
Uh-huh.
So if he's down on the ground, he's looking up.
Yeah,
and
he's like
up and
dizzy
up.
and like kind of falls over trying to look at you, like because he's so off balance.
And I'm going to say, I am the ship.
I don't know what that means. He's just kind of lying on the floor looking up at you.
Then I will lean down,
Mhm.
pick him up, and at this point, like being close enough to me that I'm a giant wooden
Yeah.
person, I am the ship. The ship is me.
Oh,
He wants to own me.
I guess. Like you could see he knows it's the wrong answer, but it's also the answer to your question.
Sure.
Like, I think so. I didn't know.
I drop him.
Okay, he just collapses to the ground. He's awake, but
Sure.
is too dizzy to.
Right. I
Keep
wasn't.
himself together.
I'm not deliberately hurting him. I'm just dropping him from the 3 feet I'm holding him
When
up
he
above.
whoops to the ground, there's another wave of odor from this guy. Just like by itself, if I said salt, fish, lime, like that sounds delicious, right? Except it's too much salt, old fish, and not enough lime. And you just your senses can like pick apart all of that and be like,
Go to the store,
"Oh."
buy the Castoffs cookbook.
Yeah,
It's like, oh.
yeah,
You're all about to get scurvy.
yep.
Like, have you ever heard of a balanced diet? Walks away. I'm gonna go see what's up with Doc.
Yeah.
Smell burning metal is actually more.
Yep. Yeah, you get let's hold on. Danny doesn't scream.
Nice.
He doesn't even like really grit his teeth. He just goes, ugh, and is like quite grown up about having a burning blade put to his wound and muscles through it with his 18 on
Nice.
self-control toughness, I guess, roll. This is Danny 1.1, right? Like
They grew up so fast.
this is a big moment, I think. Like
He's on his way to another strike.
he's never been injured
Case, right.
before, right? And you've sparred with him. You probably knocked him out a couple times, but he's never really been
Yeah.
hurt.
Yeah.
And this was even though he did it to himself, like
It's a good cut.
It is an injury he sustained during
Yes.
his first real battle.
In
Yes.
defense of the ship.
Yep. He stood his ground. He went to the fight,
One step back, 2 steps forward.
Yeah. So, he is doing pretty well. Maybe even Tarina looks a little impressed.
Hmm.
That might be a fun twist.
Mhm.
Oh,
Mm.
okay. I'm just gonna lob that and see if it goes anywhere. They'll tell me. We'll run it up to producers and see. So yeah, I mean this is oh, you were gonna go check on Doc. Can you roll a die for me, please?
11.
Okay, that's a success. So you can tell Doc is like trying to sew up a wound on her arm, and like that's okay, but you can tell also Doc's arm is dislocated, and she's like trying not to show anybody, but she's gonna need help putting that back in, and if you would like to.
Yeah, I mean, Doc.
Just fucking do it. And yeah, you've already got your success. You've identified the problem. Stare down. If you had the tough choice, it would have been like surprise Doc or wait for her to agree. But you not only identified, but like
It's like
she agreed. So
3, 2.
yep. And it pops back in. She makes a little noise as well, because that sucks. But she's okay. What else are we doing with tied up guy?
So, outside of character for a moment, I'm a little torn. I don't think that. So Sal is not bloodthirsty. Sal has the anger of a storm, but then that passes.
Yeah.
And we're no longer in the middle of a fight and being hurt, and so Sal doesn't want to, let's turn the ship around and blow them out of the water while they're floundering. On the other hand, Sal is smart enough to know that if we don't do something about this charm, this is going to keep happening. If they can't see the Wave Rider coming, if they're going to keep coming at it. So I want to ask everyone, can we think of some course of action that sort of threads that needle somewhere?
Could we just also add in, like, we take this guy up, tie him to the mast as well, so that y'all can have a conversation away from the captives? Probably up, like at the bow or something, but is that all right?
Yeah.
We'll tie them up and...
Danny is looking over them now, so
Yeah.
Third can.
Yeah, he's got a little bandage on his arm and he's got his cutlass back, and Yeah, so the four of you are up at the bow of the ship, and you've kind of turned, come about a little bit, and you can see they've put out the fires. They're still bailing water. The mage is like repairing some of the bottom parts, where they were taking on from cannon shot, taking on water. So you could see some of the boards like snap, like a mend spell kind of thing, where it's putting things back in place.
Even if we take out the charm itself, the mage will just put in a new one.
So you're saying we need to dispose of a mage?
Yes.
Sal, have you some history with this gallant? Is this a personal crusade?
Gallant was the captain in the before.
I see.
Ugh.
He doesn't understand that things have changed.
What does he mean by before? Sorry, what do they mean by before?
And it's not my story to tell.
Okay. I'll ask later.
Salamander.
You've heard of the royal ships, their new generation.
Loosely.
The ones with shipstone that are assisted. At one time, I was one of those assistants. But things have changed, and I'm a person. And Gallant has never forgiven me for that.
I see.
In fact, his parting words were, "Ships aren't people." As you've, I don't know, threw him overboard or something.
Clearly Gallant hasn't learned his lesson.
I just feel like if this is his, then we take them out.
It doesn't appear to me the crew owes that captain particular fealty or loyalty.
Now, Salamander, how long have you been a person?
I'm going to say 4 years.
Okay, so this is.
I wrote down my age on, on the sheet. I was like, I'm 4.
Yeah. This is
many.
this is the crew that he would have been able to gather in that amount of. He started with nothing 4 years ago. But let's see. I think Wall is our most experienced sailor, right? Wall, can you roll a die for me?
11.
Oh yeah. So you also realize that there are some markings on the ship that are obscured, sort of like temporary paint kind of stuff, right? Been painted over. There are some like signal flags that have been wrapped up at the front of the ship, and as you really have time now to stare and look, you're like, these are clearly Rise Company markings, and they were trying to hide that to pretend to be an independent ship or whatever.
Right.
And that doesn't mean everybody working on a Rise ship, like the captain would be, and some of the like the first mate and like some of the officers.
Yeah.
But they can hire
Right.
other hands.
Right. They can crew their ship. Yeah.
And if that's a Rise ship and it has some of the assistants that Salamander was talking about, they didn't need 15 people.
Right.
Right? So the captain brought on some people specifically to raid. Yeah. But it's clear to you at least that is a Rise Company ship, not stolen, because if you stole it you would file off those, you wouldn't just wrap up the flags, you would remove them and throw them in the water,
Like I did.
Yeah, just set them on fire. But yeah, I don't know if you want to.
I relay all of that because I don't want to say all of that again.
Okay, so.
But in Wall's voice.
Yeah, with a deep gravelly voice, you learn that it's certainly a Rise Company ship.
I don't want to kill those that had no animus.
We are in alignment.
I mean, they literally attacked us. I feel like Animus is given.
Well, they said they were under orders.
They fired the cannons, but who pointed?
But also, a surgical strike is preferable, I suppose, I guess, if we have to.
I suppose the choice is yours, Sal.
Heave around.
Make it so.
The ship is, automatically follows your direction and comes about.
So, I don't know a ton about naval combat, but I do know that the ideal position is to cross the T.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And so I want to put us in that position where our cannons are going right down the
Yep.
foredeck.
Yep.
As you do, you can see the glimmer of that charm start to come back into focus, and it's almost like the ship is a one-dimensional.
Oh, cool.
As soon as you come around to the front of the
That's
ship,
cool.
it starts to
Yeah.
squeeze in on itself.
Mm.
But the charm is foundering a little bit as well. So
Mhm.
you could still see the ship, and it's there, but you watch the process of this charm as it slims down and would like to be a sliver of nothing, but you can see the ship is there.
All right, I have to say that's super cool.
Cool.
I'm going to call out to the ship and say, I bear none of you sailors ill will. But if Gallant and his mage do not come to me, I will burn your ship to the waterline.
Hmm.
The sails were only a taste of what I can do.
Okay. I'm gonna roll for Gallant's leadership, a secret roll. Okay, so nothing happens immediately,
Mm.
right? One guy is holds up a white shirt,
Yeah.
and then somebody else elbows him, oh, we're not, then they're trying to
Mm.
talk about whatever their
Mm.
plan's gonna be.
Mm.
It's not that they're not surrendering, but
There's some.
they're not surrendering.
Yeah.
There's some dissent,
Yeah.
right? And you could see they're arguing. You could see the captain from here, right? Captain Gallant's on the deck, and they're arguing. The mage, Corin, they're having this back and forth across the way, but it's not clear what's going to happen yet. So, what do we do in this little bit of downtime?
Pick up my shield.
Yeah, I'll retrieve my harpoon
Okay.
and look menacing as long as it looks like something is happening. If it looks like they're about to spring to arms, then immediately go into spring into action.
Was Kotel the
Yeah.
first
Yeah, the first
Mhm.
one.
border?
Mhm.
Yeah. Kotel speaks up because that was a loud thing that you announced to everyone,
Yeah.
right? Speaks up and says, you're asking them to mutiny. He's not really making comment one way or the other. It's just that's a big deal that you just shouted across. But but my offer remains. And
I like this ship a lot. You guys seem really cool.
yeah,
Oh, I'm tempted to go around the side and scale up the side of that ship. It's a tempting situation.
I'll keep their eyes on me.
oh, and just for the scene, also the other guy is fully asleep, right?
Mm.
He's tied up next to Kotel, and it's just just snoring. He's had a rough afternoon, rough 40 minutes.
So, third, how are you at, well, sneaking on board and assassinating people?
Sneaking I'm all right with, but Assassination's not quite. Not my. I'd rather not.
There's a gunshot from the other deck, and you can see it's just Captain Gallant has held his gun up and it fired into the air to get the sailors, so you can't hear what they're talking about still, but you just hear quiet, bang, and then he's like back to having a conversation, just something happening over there.
Okay. Well, would you like to?
I believe we are owed an entrance. We should visit our Captain Gallant,
Turn to
seeing as
check?
how they've made themselves welcome aboard our own ship.
You're suggesting that we just board them? Parlay?
If Parlay fails, I'm ready.
More in the he either gives them up or we're in a very good position to board their ship and murder people. I mean, murder's such a harsh word, but maybe a little light lessons learned forever.
As usual, I will knock on the door and you enter from the window.
You're just going to board the ship and just murder them?
If peace fails, we'll do what we have to do. Let us hope peace does not fail.
They attempted to kill us first.
I understand.
I mean, the guy literally just tried to enslave Sal.
I understand. I have an idea. Can you follow my lead?
That depends entirely on your lead.
Are you any good at lying?
No.
One ghost action point.
So we go down the side, and you and Sal.
Are you any good at lying, Sal?
People have said I have a very stoic face.
Good enough. We'll
Imagine
keep them.
Sal's poker face.
We'll keep them distracted while you two do whatever it is you do that I would rather not hear about.
Interesting.
I wink at Lucky, and there's a little bit of a flirtation there.
Ooh. All
But
right.
it's slight, it's slight, it's slight.
Yeah, that's okay.
Season 1, episode 2.
Sure.
I want to call Danny over.
Yeah.
And ask him to go below decks, and see if Doc and Tarina are ready, able to load the cannons.
Okay, I'll go ask them. But what's he doing? And he points over to the wave runner, and you all then immediately hear, "Hail the Salamander!" And he's like, Captain Gallant is kind of standing up on the prow of the ship, and he says, "I'll give you this," and he's holding up the mage by like the front of his clothes. "And you leave us. Deal?"
Will you swear to never harass the Salamander again?
"I give you this, and you leave us." And the mage is like, "Fuck you, you son of a bitch!" It's
Okay.
like, remember the other guy said that's his lover, right?
Mhm.
Like,
Mm-hmm.
this guy is like kicking and like punching, and he's just like, Gallant is a big dude, and he's just like, no. So he does not agree to the "I'll never follow you," but that's what he's shouting across the water.
Wall kind of rests his tower shield on the ground and leans against it, and he's just looking over to Sal, and he's just waiting for whatever your play is, I'll back you.
Give us the charm.
The charm goes with this.
Destroy yours first.
What? So he throws the mage off the prow of the ship, and when he hits the water, the ship shimmers back into full view, and apparently the mage has to be on the ship for it to work.
Well, I suppose that worked.
And that guy hit the water like on his back, but like belly flop, and he just sinks. So we don't know if he's gonna come to or what, but almost certainly got the wind knocked out of him and was fully dressed in like brocade,
Why is it always robes with your people?
Yeah.
not robes, but like really fancy vest and jacket and
That's why I don't bother.
Should somebody go get them?
Throw them a line.
Actually, Danny looks at you. He's like, "Geez,
Throw a line.
Yeah.
okay." So Danny, I don't think Danny wears shoes.
Probably not.
Keeps his flipper feet out.
They're
So yeah, he pulls his shirt off and just silent dive into the
Ooh,
water
neat.
from
Okay,
the
cool.
deck of the ship.
showing that mer DNA.
Yeah. And he just disappears beneath the water. It's going to be a second before he comes back up. Though.
Sure.
So, what do you all, and Galen is up there with this Captain Morgan pose, and your end, set sail.
Cease your foolish pursuit. I will never come back with you, and I won't be as lenient the next time you try. Cut your loss, go back to your masters, and leave me and sail away.
He doesn't respond.
Right.
He poses.
But I have to posture as well.
Yes. Yep.
Are you
Walls.
sure I can't just kill him?
I mean, he's standing there on the prow. You can do whatever you want as a
Right.
character.
And I didn't the two of you sort of move to a different location? I can't control.
I'm still I'm on the deck, waiting
Oh,
for
okay.
your sign.
Okay.
Because I'm the charging ahead guy.
I just figure. I mean, there's we're outnumbered pretty heavily.
Wall doesn't mind.
Well,
But Wall
not
is-
as badly anymore.
True.
They've only got like a dozen guys over there now. They
Right.
lost their 6 best ones.
They have sailors. You have a general. Wall is gonna walk up next to you and just ask, "Do you think he's flying the flag of the Royals intentfully? Is he doing this without the Royal Company knowing?"
And Salamander, I don't know if you would have noticed the flags, but they're all wrapped up and not obvious, but
They're-
Wall is pointing out that he's got the Rise Company flags stowed but visible if you know what to look for.
They don't release their ships easily. I can't imagine that he's operating entirely on his own.
Then he wouldn't mind surrendering his flags, since he's apparently not using them. Wall's a bit angry.
So you're gonna yell at him to
One last thing before you leave. We require your flags.
You see Gallant, and he doesn't shout anything back. He just draws. It's not a cuz. He's got a long sword, right? Draws it and just hacks the post on the bow of the ship that had all the the flags wrapped around it, and it just falls into the water.
We should probably send the 2 back over there, unless you want to deal with them for the next however many days that we're going to be until the 7 Queens.
Is that loud enough for Cotil to hear? Do you think, or are you far enough away?
No, I'm kind of keeping this for Sal.
Okay.
They are the one.
Yep.
Who have the most invested and are the I am not going to take an action to try to kill Gallant on my own. I'm gonna follow your lead there.
Yeah.
But also, I'm just saying it would solve a lot of problems.
It would prevent him from coming back.
I know, but I feel like this is narrative structurally. This is the Act 1
Yeah.
where
Mhm.
we go, okay,
Hey,
we're cool,
if
and
you
then when it
wanna
comes
pull
back
up-
in Act
If
3,
you want to pull a Malcolm Reynolds and kick this guy into the engine, that's fine.
Yeah.
There are no rails on this.
True.
Do the thing that your character would do, and if your character is hesitant to do a murder,
I think
that's
Sal,
that's one thing.
right, outside of the passion of the moment, Sal is not inclined to murder someone at this point.
Justice.
Yeah.
But either way, unless you want to hear that guy attempt to work his way onto the crew constantly for the next several days.
I thought we'd just leave them at the next port. Do you object?
Not so long as I don't have to look over them or smell them ever again.
I doubt they'll be treated kindly if they were to go back.
Boo-hoo.
Well, maybe we'll send back the smelly one.
Agreed.
You left some trash on my ship.
Keep it.
This is not a request.
He turns away and walks back towards the aft of the ship. He just walks away from the bow.
What would you like to do, Sal?
How many days are we out from the Isle of the Seven
Let's
Queens?
see. I think we said it was 10 or 12 days, and we've been 7 days out. So we're 3 to 5 days left.
I'll keep an eye on them.
Hotel seems pleasant if it means anything.
Is our business concluded, Sal? Are you satisfied?
For now. And I still would like to get some cargo aboard. I look at everyone and then start moving the ship back on our original course.
Let us
unless
ready
someone
to
says-
dart and aim for the wall
That's it.
and see where the wind takes us next.
We already did that.
I love that. That's a great moment. Also, if everyone likes this, I was going to have Danny pull the mage up out of the water, out of view of the
Mhm.
other ship.
Mhm.
And the mage is somewhat recoverable. So that could be something we look at next time if we like.
Mm.
Yep.
Because
I
it
like
is
that idea.
time for us to clock out.
Yep.
All right. Well, you sail on. We leave the broken and sailless wave runner, more of a wave sitter
Mm.
now.
A wave drifter.
Yeah. Wave floater. And you sail on. We'll hopefully make it to the Isle of the Seven Queens next time. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. Thank you to our moderators for taking care of us in our channel. It's such great work, and we really cannot never thank you enough. So thank you for being here for our live show. In fact, watching live or later are your only two options to watch the show. And we don't mind which one you pick. Thank you for joining us in either flavor. Well, let's go around and say our goodbyes before I do the last bit of this. So, Joe?
Hi, everybody, and goodbye, everybody. I am Joe, and I was Wall. I hope you enjoyed our little adventure at sea, and I hope to see you again next week. You can find me at Joe Love Stories. I don't use that account. You can write what you want on there. Don't be toxic. Say hi. If you have questions, maybe I'll answer in a month. Use it as practice if you want. But otherwise, you'll see me again with this crew next week.
I'm Courtney. I played third Ephandrus, the bard type substance. Learned some interesting things about him today. Got some ideas. You can find me on Twitter at the Anime Goddess. Give me a follow. Say hi. Tell me what fun flavorings of Mesmerize you'd like to see third do. And thanks for watching.
Hi, I am Pooja. You can find me on Twitter at LADaisygirl and pretty much all the other socials as Forgotten Saves. Come check out my cats. They're so great.
They are very cute.
So cute. If you want to hear me play other TTRPGs, I am currently GMing on 12-Sided Stories. We are doing a City of Mist actual play called The Foundlings.
Yeah, I just got through character creation episode. It's very fun. Yeah.
It's an exciting little show. I'm happy about it.
Cool. Hey everyone, I am Nick. You can find me on Twitter at Sungrowler. You can also find me there on Instagram at Sungrowler, but I don't ever post there, so don't follow me except occasionally when Facebook decides to do weird cross-posting. Beyond that, I'm sometimes on the Advice Show, and I'll see you next week here.
And my name is Jason. You can follow me on Twitch and Twitter at It's Probably Okay, and I hope you will follow me for news and updates about all of that stuff, including my RPG Demigods, which is soon to go to printer. Very excited to
Yes.
have that coming to a creative end, and you can hear more about that if you follow me online. You can join us here next Saturday at 6 p.m. Pacific time, Happy Jack's RPG, for the next episode of the Castoffs. You can go to happyjacks.org/shows to find back episodes and episodes of every show we've ever done. There's a lot of stuff there, honestly. It's a lot. We are a lot.
Yes.
But thank you everyone so much for being here. We look forward to seeing you next time. And until then, take care. Thank you.
Bye.